Oh. Let me see now.
Okay, so it looks like we are live. Hi, everyone.
What up, what up, what up?
Hey.
Good afternoon, good evening. Is it evening? It's afternoon, it's evening. It's 7 p.m. Hi, everyone. Okay,
Hey, before you start, pro tip number two, guys, don't try don't try to do the green screen special effect background. It just I really wanted to shine and beat everybody with the best background, but you know what, guys? It's just not good. It's not working without an actual green screen. So just everyone, I know you're tempted. You want to like have speakers and like or a ganja field. Just leave that alone for this discussion and use your actual room.
Word,
That's another tip.
word up.
That's another.
Keep it simple. Keep it simple.
Spice has a microphone.
Thank you, thank you.
okay.
I thought it was a fake mic.
So, guys, your learning lesson is stop touching buttons.
Yes, don't touch a thing.
Okay, so it looks like we can see, everyone can see the chat to the right of your box. Can you guys see that?
Yep, Lucy.
Private
Yeah, man.
comments.
Awesome. So that feed is running to our Facebook and YouTube guests. So good evening, everyone. Thank you guys for logging on. Appreciate you guys being here. I just want to welcome everyone to Plug In. I'm super excited because this is my biggest plugged in edition to date. So thank you, Walshy in Jamaica, Barrie in St. Lucia, Anna in Trinidad, Spice in New York City, and Jester in Toronto. Welcome, everyone. First off, of course, I'd like to say thank you to Digicel for making this possible. This plugged-in edition is powered by Digicel, so shout out Digicel. My name is Kerra Denel. I'm the founder of Kerra Denel Entertainment, as well as CWPL Global and Kerra Lips Kits. A lot of you guys know me, some of you don't. If you don't, just go to my website after this and you'll get a little more information about me. So again, thank you all for being here. Let's jump right into this. So tell us, guys, how have you been managing your time during quarantine? You know, a lot of us are accustomed to traveling and having events and all these other things. What have you guys been up to? So we can start with Barrie.
In St. Lucia, been handling a lot of things that I normally would not be able to do because I'll be traveling so much. So business handling for my mom. For those of us who know, my dad passed a couple of years ago. That is a whole nother story. But pretty much I'll be handling a lot of that. And lastly, I have been in the fitness center.
Hey.
That's what I've been doing.
Barrie.
Yeah.
Awesome. And what about you, Jester?
Honestly, there's a lot of day trips because like we're so used to being on the road and traveling so much. So just actually going to places in Toronto and Ontario that I've never been to before ever in my life. So going to like not even just Niagara Falls, but other falls like in Hamilton and outside of Toronto. So it's been trying to just make the best and staying creative.
Nice. Anna?
Well, I feel like since things have been on full lockdown, just trying to find alternate ways of, setting up new projects. And as Barrie said, things that you wouldn't have had time to do before, you just kind of find in that time now. So being able to set up new things and just seeing everything from a different perspective, it's like it is a whole new world.
Yeah. How about you, Spice?
Just getting into new stuff, things that you haven't been able to do while traveling. Also, look out for my new restaurant, Little Caribbean. So just doing different things.
Bop, bop, bop.
Congrats on that. And Mr. Walshy Fire.
Yeah, man. Big up everybody. Thank you, guys. Let me brighten up myself. I'm just loving everything that everybody said. Shout out to everybody here. Great energy. This is going to be a great conversation. I'm probably going to repeat what everybody says, minus like the personal stuff, like the restaurant, the businesses. Just been making lots of music, and I can't wait to get this discussion started. And shout out to everybody that's in the chats. I'm going to be working on my YouTube to get everybody to the YouTube right now. So let's just get it started.
Okay, so let's start with Spice. Now, you're the founder of the Team Soca brand. I want to know, have you seen an increase in viewership now that a lot of people are home? Do you think this has actually worked in your favor?
Oh, definitely, because everyone's home, so they're looking for content. So that's why I've been busy trying to get the visual part of the team soccer. We already had the radio going, so now trying to organize the visual part of it.
Okay, and tell us, why was it so important for you to create a brand dedicated strictly to soca?
Seeing that at the time the market needed help, the market of soca and calypso music. It was I needed to, because for the future, if the future doesn't know about what happened in the past, it's better to unite all the best soca DJs around the world to help bring together, educating the world about what soca and calypso music is. We got Barrie, we got Jester, Walshy Fire, Anna, a little busy, her schedule a little busy, so. But no, but the whole purpose of the whole team soca thing is just to educate the world, take soca music to that level where it's respected by the world, just as a hip hop, R&B, etc. So
Okay.
10 years ago, about 10 years ago, started the whole Team Soca radio station, then the clothing line to help promote the radio station, and then the rest is history.
Okay, and tell us, what does being Caribbean mean to you?
What does being Caribbean? Being Caribbean means the world to me, because I represent my family mainly being from Trinidad and Tobago. I have to represent the culture around the world.
Okay, perfect. Now, Mr. Hype, you're recognized as a public figure. You've spoken on many platforms, sharing knowledge and so forth, hosting events. In the position that you're in, have you ever mentored, new DJs or just persons wanting to get involved in the music business? And how important do you believe is your role to the next generation?
Give me the last part of your question again, please.
How important do you believe is your role to the next generation?
It seems from the questions that a lot of the DJs on who are coming up, that definitely whatever it is that I did, they're very intrigued by it and want to learn. So I'm very, very open to teaching anybody who wants to move to the next level, as long as they are one, humble, two, genuine, and three, have a drive for this. But if you're not humble, I'm not interested. At least come with an open mind, understand that I didn't know it all and that we are all learning at the same process. But I am very, very open to teaching the next generation. My story to success may not be your story. You need to make your story to become successful, and I have no problem in helping you move from where you are to where you should be.
Okay, and do you urge your peers to be open to mentoring as well?
I do, but mentoring is not for everybody, because not everybody can really take that time and sit down with one or two or three or 10 people. But it is important, even if it's just one person that you bring into the team. The last person I could say that we seriously mentored years and years and years ago, and that's a combination of Crown Prince Nico and Jester and Walshy, was Ryan Saeed. We nurtured him, and look where Saeed's now as a brand, as a global brand in soca. We are proud of our brother.
Yes, shout out Ryan Saeed. Now, Jester, in a business where we have seen the growth of a mic man, where patrons look to the mic man to kind of know what to do in some cases, do you feel it's necessary to have a mic man? Like for you, it's kind of a speak less, let the music talk type situation. So as the industry evolves, do you see yourself changing with it and speaking more during sets? Or do you think that you're just going to continue holding it down and just letting the music talk?
That actually is a great question. I think during this whole COVID time, I think a lot of DJs had to step up their whole brand and let them be a voice, let their voice be heard more. So if I have to do it and I don't have a Barrie or a Kid Cutter or a Walsh or whoever, I'm gonna have to do it. I'm gonna have to step up, and I've stepped up many times. I have been a person who lets the music play, because a lot of people may not necessarily want to hear a lot of talking, and I let them vibe off the music, and I tell the story with my music. Yeah, no, definitely. I think it's important for every DJ to have a voice. Absolutely.
Right. Okay. And Anna, so as a young woman who is part of a male-driven business, how challenging has it been for you to, make your name and earn the respect of your peers?
feel like in general, it is obviously harder for females in the entertainment industry, just from soca to any other genre in general. And it obviously has been, I'd say, quite a journey, finding the perfect balance between being able to maintain, in my case, how good I am, with also being able to kind of balance it off with the skill set of music, and also gaining and earning that respect from not just, I guess, the general audience, but also peers in the industry, and being able to, always keep my game up and find new ways to make things innovative. So it's been tough. I mean, but at the end of the day, I've always wanted to be judged as more than just a female DJ, and more as an actual DJ entity. So that has always been my aim, and I feel like that's the basis of everything that I do and everything that I do with my brand. Finding more ways to just keep pushing, even though I'd say we have an advantage as women, but we also have a disadvantage.
Yeah.
So you always have to find that perfect balance in between, and it can be challenging.
What's one piece of advice you would give to a young upcoming female that's in the industry?
Kara, can you repeat it? You stuck for a second.
Oh, sorry. So what's one piece of advice you would give to a young female that wants to, build in the entertainment industry?
Um, Usually when girls come up to me and they ask me about DJing, and just anybody who wants to even be an artist, I would say to them that it really is about being true to yourself, and understanding that there are complexities and there are dark sides to the entertainment industry. So finding yourself and staying true to yourself is most important. Once you know exactly the path that you want to go on, and you're able to follow through with that path, I think that's key, and that's what's most important.
Amen. Great. And Walshy. So we've heard, of all types of different sound clashes. It's something that we've known for years, dancehall and reggae. Like we have sounds like Bass Odyssey, Mighty Crown, Warrior Sound, Black Panther, and so forth. So tell us, what does clashing bring to the industry? Like, what's the value in your opinion?
Okay, so I want to say that regardless of genre of music, for some reason, competitiveness always brings out the best in the artist. It brings out the best in their performance, and it makes the people who are participating in the experience get an experience that they just can't get anywhere else in the world. And for some reason, Caribbean people, we love to clash. And it could be Soca Monarch, it could be Sound Clash, it could be Steel Pan, whatever it is, that competitiveness is actually what makes us so much better than other genres of music. Because you can't just be humble and comfortable and just be like, yo, me, I the baddest thing. Somebody's going to literally step into your space with some aggression, and they're going to take your space if you don't hold your space. And that's with talent. Never anything violent, never anything that goes crosses any lines. But that competition, sorry guys, is the absolute key point of why our genres of music. Because like, yo, when you go to Haiti and you see they're clashing, their Rabo Day trucks such clashing, and you're just like, yo, this is crazy. All of us are doing this. Everybody in the Caribbean is like they say, steel sharpening steel by competing. And so I see us on a fast track to beat everybody else in the world on everything at all times, and have always, because we never sit comfortably and just be like, I'm the baddest thing and blah blah blah. Everybody has to compete to maintain that, and by competing they get better.
Okay. Now we've seen Versus do a bunch of different clashes. We've had the Alicia Keys and the John Legend, the Teddy Riley, and Babyface. So do you think that Americans truly understand the culture of clashing?
No, but I do know that they like it, and I do know that they're interested, and I do know that they've seen something that they have no, like literally, like I mean, I want to reference it to something like an alien. Just imagine if an alien jumped on this live right now, and all of us were just like, "Yo, that's an alien on this live." We don't know how to communicate with it. We don't know what to do. We're just gonna watch it. We're just gonna let it talk. And no disrespect, of course, to any of the verses, but we all know that Beanie Man versus Bounty Killer brought a Caribbean flavor that we're all used to. That was just another Tuesday for us, but for the world, that was like, what am I experiencing? Why is this so good? Why is this so different? Where has this been all my life? And that's what the main point, I think, of everybody that's in this chat and that's going to be in the chat that's following this one. They might not compete themselves, as in like there's a trophy and they hold it over their head, but there is competition. Who can make the best mix CD? Who can do the best event? Who can be the best DJ on a truck? Who can be the best MC? There's always this competition, even though there's not an actual vote and a winner. The streets and the people say, "Yo, you're the baddest, you're the best." And so I look at verses and I see that people were like, "Yo, why do we just give these guys awards? Why do we just give everybody the award? Every rapper that comes up and is named Little whatever and raps about nothing goes straight to the top of the charts, and their production could be horrible and they go straight to the top of the charts, and nobody's ever saying, yo, you know what, if somebody came at that guy, he wouldn't stand a chance. It's so comfortable, it's so easy." And I do believe that we're going to end up with a lot more Caribbean people that are going to enter their genres and just crush them, super crush them. I'm talking about, you're going to see Kes do a country song, you're going to see, you know what I'm saying, Bungie do a hip hop song. You're going to see Skilla Bang do an EDM song, and they're just going to crush it. And if you notice, every single time that we've crossed over, we've won, because we come with this challenge of ourselves. How far can we go? How much can we add? How far can we push it? And one other thing before I get out of here is I want to say we have two things that we really love. One is, of course, the clash, the competition, but we also love to see an awkward or an uncomfortable moment. Yo, we love that. We'll live that for like a month. Let somebody do something off or wrong. They got to stay inside for a while. You know what I'm saying? And that, just imagine that pressure on you. Yo, you're not gonna fail. You're gonna do your very best. And so when you see them going into this other genre, or this other world, or expressing themselves outside of the Caribbean, you see that they have that same opinion of, yo, you know, so if I go out there and do one little fuckery song, you know, the whole of the Caribbean are gonna beat me with a belt buckle. So they have to go out there and really do their best, really outperform everybody. Yo, tell you right now, make Jennifer Lopez, who you say are the baddest performer, Beyonce, make she touch stage with yo, make she touch stage with Denise Belfont, or make she touch stage with Alison Hines. Murder. You understand? So they are able to do a lot of things with a lot of money, and we're doing things with no money. Yet still we're doing amazing, incredible, great things. So it's going to be a problem when we begin to bring this money home, invest in our own stage production, invest in our own studio production, invest in our artists, you know, doing different things outside of the bubble and the boxes that we're used to. A problem. Yo, Caribbean is going to take over the entire industry once we all decide that that's what we want to do. Sorry I took so long.
No, that was very, very well said, and I think that it was needed as well. So I'm gonna just kind of open up the discussion. So my next question is, what are your thoughts about, you know, DJing at these virtual events? You know, do you think that you guys are able to bring the same energy that you bring at physical events? Because, you know, as far as I know, a lot of DJs obviously, you know, rely heavily on crowd interaction. So now that we're in this virtual space where you don't get to kind of interact with the patrons and so forth, do you find it to be harder? And, you know, how does that affect your energy? And this is open to everyone.
Let me jump on this one. And Walshy and I, and as a matter of fact, Spice has been there, and so has Jester. I used to DJ on a radio station called Mix 96 in Miami, and our only interaction was when somebody would call that phone and say, yo, that tune there bad, yo, pull it up, yo, which island represent, and the phone would ring off the hook, people picking up their islands. The only interaction we have is watching flames in the comments, but because a lot of us have come from that school, virtual is not as different for us. Yes, it is a challenge. Yes, it's not the same. But again, this goes back to the same thing that Walsh was saying, is that because we're schooled from the era of no budget. We don't have the Hot 97, which at its lowest has 3 million people listening, but we will DJ on the radio station as if 3 million people are listening.
Facts. Facts. I mean, the biggest thing about the virtual parties or events or lives or whatever you want to call them, it has forced everybody to entertain. You have to be an entertainer now. It's no longer just mix two records. Oh, we've seen you do that, or we've heard you do that on a mixtape. But now you can actually see Barrie as a personality. If you've never heard Barrie speak before, or Spice, or people are buying props, and Amazon is like the DJ's friend right now. Everybody stepped up their sound. It sounds like crystal clear. Everybody like this now. It's actually challenged you to be a little more creative as opposed to just playing the normal. Open the laptop and play songs. Now you are an entertainer. Now you have to have a voice. Now you have to speak. Now you have to talk argument and make people put up flames in the chat. Make people put up hearts and all sorts of stuff. You're telling them what to do, and they're interacting with you, and they become part of your virtual event, party, space, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, let me just jump in real quick and say, what they're saying is absolutely right. We were doing this already. Everybody that has seen this now, we do not do this. We've been doing this for like 15 years, 20 years, easily online. Because even back in the day, we used to get like the little stream, and what was the name of the streaming service Barrie we used to use? It was like a video, it was like it was like a little camera. Yeah, one of them, something there. So we've been doing this, and I mean, it just feels so natural. It feels like whatever. But I will say, what Jester just said is the most important point. There's no way you can buy your way into this anymore. You can't network your way into this no more.
Facts.
And you can no longer con your way into this no more.
Facts.
Which are three things that a lot of DJs and entertainers were doing previously to this. They would network their way in. That's my cousin. That's my girlfriend's, club. That's my brother. They in. They would con their way in. I'm not really the one doing this, but nobody notices. And they would buy their way in. Enough DJs purchase their way in to a setting, to a situation. And we've never been those guys, which I think is why we're successful. But let me tell you something. You cannot do it anymore. You can't hide. You can't hide. You can't lie anymore. And so you're going to see not just us. You're going to see a whole new wave of young talent come up that no one's ever seen before, because they didn't have the money, they didn't have the network, and they never want to tell no lie. I said, no, you're going to see real pressure on people at the top, and I love that pressure.
And shout out to Anna, because Anna, I don't know if she still has it, but on Friday nights, she used to have like this, like the go to the club. I don't remember what it was called, Anna. But exactly, Anna would be on camera doing her thing, DJing for 4-hour blocks. She would play music on the radio. I think Patrick was on for like the first maybe hour or so, but it was all Anna. Hannah's the one putting in this work, doing what she has to do. So as Walshy said, you can't fake this anymore. We see you.
I feel like also during this time, 2 points actually. Before, we were never able to really get one-on-one interaction with the people that we were playing with. Obviously, collectively, you would hear from people based on their crowd reactions as a whole. But now you can actually see what each individual thinks about what is happening. And I feel like one is obviously a whole lot more pressure too, because you are seeing every little comment that comes up. You are seeing how people feel about every movement that you make in a set. And I feel like the pressure is on to entertain people. And there's so many DJs that are going live from all across the world. So it really is challenging you to figure out, how do I make this different, and how do I stand out at this point in time to entertain people and keep them there for a specific period of time. Because I've realized you had to add visual element to your DJing, where it is almost like a DJ TV show. When you go live, it isn't just about the sound anymore. It's about what people see and how you could bring a whole new light to what you've been doing in parties, So it really is opening up your mind to a whole new element of DJing in a way,
Yes.
I'd like to add to that, it should be a great time for all DJs to be able to reset learn new things. Like before March, I've never used OBS. You understand? So it's like it's a learning experience. Everyone should just be uplifting themselves right now.
Agreed, 100%. I keep telling people, I think that during this time, it's important for you to, build on your brand. So finish that EPK or update that PPK, that website, get your admin stuff down, all the foundation things that some of you guys aren't able to do because you're on the road. Get that stuff done now, continue to be creative and innovative and just learn things. Like you just said, you learned OBS in March. I just learned OBS last week. It took 5 hours for me to figure this out. And now I can say that, I know how to do this. So it's important to kind of keep learning during this time and keep growing, right? So let's talk about, where you guys see us going. What does the future of entertainment look like for you guys? Because a lot of you guys rely on, the entertainment industry as your livelihood. So how do you think this, how do you think this looks for the future? What's our next move?
Man, I got answers there, but if somebody else want to jump in, I'll hold up. Man, someone. All right, me just go on. Let me tell you right now, lighter. The first thing I want to say to everybody is none of us can predict the future. So whatever any of us say does not mean squat. You can put your bets on anything that we're saying, but don't be mad if you lose your money, because every single week feels like a year. Every single week now feels like a year. Some technology comes out this Monday, and on Friday, a whole other technology comes out, and that technology that came out on Monday is now obsolete. Every single week feels like a year in the entertainment industry. It switches so much. Now, I will say I've done a pay-per-view event, and my pay-per-view event, I did a pay-per-view sound clash, and it was quite successful. I was actually really shocked. So apparently, in my circles of friends, I'm the first one to ever do a pay-per-view Caribbean event. First of all, that feels awesome. I'm so glad that I can say that. As far as not say that, I think since quarantine, maybe somebody else has done it before that, but from in my circle, that's what I understand, and I can help give advice to everybody. Anybody out there that needs any whatever about how to do a pay-per-view event, link I Rastafari, because I will help you. I've done every mistake in one go. I've done every single mistake you can think of. Now, with that being said, I do believe that people are going to again go through the three things that I just said. They're going to want people that are not conning them. They're going to want people that are trusted, and they're going to want to know that those people are genuinely good at what they're doing. Like, it's just going to be like, yo, if you're not giving the people something that's genuinely amazing, they're not going to purchase in. Now, that's just saying I have no clue what's going to happen in real life. I personally don't believe we'll be going back to any form of normalcy for at least another year, possibly two. But again, I could be dead wrong. They could open up the gates tomorrow, and everybody that's been itching to go outside could ram up a fit right now. But I don't believe that's going to happen. So virtually, I think we're going to see more and more people do pay-per-view events. We've done a ton of free events. Instagram doesn't want us on their platform, so most of us have totally fallen back from Instagram. Like, we're not even doing this discussion on Instagram because Instagram doesn't want us there. Instagram is literally saying, you guys, we're not trying to fight for the copyrights. We're not trying to get our lawyers to focus on copyrights for you guys. Go where they play music. Don't stay over here. But for some reason, Caribbean people are really, really finding it hard to go over to the platforms that they actually do want us at, which are Twitch and Mixcloud. For some reason, Caribbean people just don't want to go yet. But I think it'll come. I think you'll eventually see lots more people over on Twitch and Mixcloud. I think you'll see a lot more people doing pay-per-view events, of which the promoters and the DJs can actually make some money. I'm doing one this Saturday. Guys. Rum and Bass is going to be at Clubhouse. Now, I've been able to get sponsors because I've stayed in the sponsor site, as you could say. So I've never lost that connection with sponsor. So Saturday, I'm doing Rum and Bass at Clubhouse, and it's sponsored by Beats. Now, a few DJs that are even on the show are going to be DJing on it. Some of them said, yo, they only DJ on their platform, and I think that's good too. But I think that what happens is when I'm bringing a lot of our culture out into an audience that doesn't usually get to see it, and they're paying us, even though it's a little bit of money now. I think that we're going to do what's it called when you prove that you can proof a receipt. I forgot it's some word where it's like, yo, you show and prove. I believe I'm going to be able to get bigger budgets, bigger sponsors, and we're going to be able to have a bigger online presence. Right now, Twitch is also partnering with me to do several things. I can announce right now I'm doing a clash with Serato. Serato has now got on board to take over my clash. My clashes are now on Serato with a budget. And that's all because I've kind of just like stayed there going, yo, what do we do? Lighter! What do we do? What do we do? What do we do? So to everyone out there, I will say, yo, don't think it's just going to drop like, something out of the sky. You got to do your research. You got to stay abreast. You got to constantly, they've still got money. They're looking at opportunities. You just have to make yourself visible. And so, I don't know where we're going as far as actual in the streets, but I do think virtual is going to grow. I think that I would bet that is something that everybody here will agree with. Virtual fedding and online events are going to become a super normal thing very, very soon.
Yeah, I mean, to add to Walsh's part as well too, I think there's going to come a point also where there will be some form of outdoor events. It just won't be what you think it's going to be. Right now, yes, there's going to be a lot of virtual things, and there'll be a lot of pay-per-view things. And right now, this is the time for DJs to actually hit up sponsors, because the sponsors they're not making money. They're not making money the way they used to make money. So yes, Cara Beer or a Beats by Dre or whoever, they're willing. If you have something that they want, they will say, okay, let's do something. Let me invest in what you're telling me, because now is the time. And don't be afraid to. I've done a lot of charity type events where 5 and 6 sponsors, they're sending stuff to your house, Roots clothing and this and that, and all sorts of care packages, because they know the power of social media, and they say, okay, this guy's going to post what he's wearing, what I sent him, and he has XYZ followers. So that's exposure for us. It may not be, run to the store right away and get it, but if they do it with me and they do it with Barrie, they do it with Anna and Walsh and Spice and whoever is here, they will eventually see a return on investment.
I feel like in Trinidad, for example, prior to COVID, a lot of agencies that would have dealt with sponsors and different brands, I would say kind of undervalued social media personalities and the influence of people who have large followings on social media. So they were still into conventional media like TV, radio, stuff like that. And given the lockdown in Trinidad, for example, I work the 3 to 6 show on Hot 93 in Trinidad, and that's drive time. Usually our time is packed with ads. And you just saw like a drastic decrease because nobody was in their car. People weren't going to work. So you were finding that brands that still wanted to advertise and invest were trying to find alternate ways to just kind of push their stuff out. And they suddenly just switched to wanting to have their things on social media. So like for me, for example, I've been doing like my Friday night lives still for a long time. I've been doing them, but going into COVID, I started doing it with a lot of sponsors involved. So they would kind of like buy all the time, and that way I was still trying to find a way to not have people be charged to come in to view it and just kind of give it to my followers and supporters free. So kind of getting sponsors on board and letting them kind of put the finances behind it to make it work. And I think people have been appreciating the social media presence a whole lot more than conventional media. So it's crazy to see that radio, which I would have said was kind of king still in Trinidad for like a long time, is now not necessarily that anymore. It is now starting to get back in as things are kind of opening back up, but they are appreciating social media and the social media presence a whole lot more.
Okay. Barrie, did you want to chime in on that? Or
I think from what he's saying, especially if you're an artist and you're watching this right now, producer, remixer, toast maker, influencer, understand that you are now direct to the consumer. What does that mean? So Anna, prime example of what she said, you have to bring the record to radio to make sure it got played and to make sure that people heard it. radio, as Anna, I keep calling you Hannah. That's my mom's goddaughter. I apologize. But what happened is radio now took a back seat, or they are not as prominent as they were, and now you're going direct to the consumer. Again, artists, producers, if you're listening, get your product now direct to the consumer. You no longer have to go to the filtration of is this good or is this not. Get it to the people and let them decide.
I like to add to that. Big up to all the artists that are locked in right now that are putting out stuff. Because it's good for the people. The people need the music. Big up to Tedison John. Big up to Voice. Big up to Hyper Songs. People in the studio right now working. The people need the music.
I'm actually glad that you brought that up because I wanted to touch on that because there's, I've been hearing that there are certain artists that are saying that they don't want to put out music because there's no carnivals, there's no stages for them to touch, there's no tours. How do you guys feel about that? Like, do you guys feel that, yes, they should be putting out music? I can understand on the flip side of it, it takes money to make music at the end of the day. So it's kind of a tough situation for a lot of people. But how do you guys feel about that? Because there's a lot of talk in the industry going around about that currently.
I got an answer for that. First of all, I dropped a song with Davido yesterday. You guys go check it out. It's called Unction. All right, so lighter. I've been dropping music like crazy during COVID. At first, I was very scared. And me, Jester, and Barrie used to talk about it all the time. What do we do? What do we do? How do I promote this? My main way of promoting, and I believe a lot of artists are going to say the same thing, is live. I can make a record a hit record. Give me a record as a DJ, I can make that record a hit record. So when I'm producing my music and I'm performing my music, I'm playing my music, I can make my song a hit record. I don't need radio. I don't need any playlists. I can go into the club, into the streets, and I can make my song a hit record. I no longer have that. So what do we do? I thought about it for a long time, and I was like, you know what? Let me just see Wagwan. A lot of people were in a crazy mind state, a lot of deaths, a lot of things like that. You don't really want to be just dropping songs when mind is not in the mood. And so what I actually decided to do, here's the Kerra Denel, exclusive. I need like a lighter right now. Now I need a lighter more than ever, and some horns and gunshots. Because lighter. This is the Kerra Denel exclusive. What I did was I stopped making music for the club. And I started to make music, or I am making music that much more fits the mood, much more fits the emotion that we're having now. Now, for instance, this Davido song I dropped, I had that in the can a long time ago. So it was already on schedule to drop. There's nothing I can do about it. But going forward, the music that I'm making right now is all about streaming in your isolation, with your family, with your close friends. I'm not making any music right now that doesn't match, that doesn't have a place for it to play. I'm not making music that's like, everybody run to the right and everybody run to the left, because there's no place for that to be performed yet. And so right now, I've actually switched my vibe and my energy, and I really like where I'm at right now. I don't really want to say the project I'm working on, but I'm working on something that I think is actually going to revolutionize the game. And, Barrie hears me say this all the time. I do believe that reggae, dancehall, and soca are not going to be what it is much longer. I believe that the kids that are now listening to reggae, dancehall, soca, compa, and all these other genres that have been around for 70, 60, 50 years, I believe that the kids are now moving in a direction of creating something new. And so I think that I'm in a space now where I'm beginning to see that pivot. I'm seeing that pivot, but I'm in a space where I'm being able to curate that pivot and help give that the strength and the legs that it needs to become an actual thing across the Caribbean. So I think that right now, dropping music is not a bad thing, but you're going to lose the angles of performing it and being able to have an impact with a live performance like you used to. Now, you're going to hope that your virtual live performance gives an impact if your song is that kind of like clubby song. So yeah, dropping a song right now that's like, yo, I pop bottles. It just doesn't make sense right now. There's nowhere to pop a bottle. You know what I'm saying? So you just have to kind of think about that and find a medium where you can make music that won't have to be so focused on a specific space or place. And if that's what you're making and that's what you're creating, I say drop it. If you're not creating that, I would say, yo, you might be better off actually waiting until the clubs open up again, because you're going to want to catch that energy of the club. You don't want your song to go up and then immediately drop down because there's nobody partying to your party song. But that's my opinion. The fuck do I know?
uh, to add to Walsh's thing, I think for artists who don't want to put out music now, I mean, for some people, they're taking this time to completely reset, and they're relaxing, they're spending time with their family, they're doing whatever. But for the people who are releasing music, this is a good time to release music. We had a conversation, like you said, myself, Walsh, and Barrie, about even for mainstream artists, it's hard. It's just as hard for them. But I feel like as a Caribbean artist, the space is wider for you because of the type of music that you do. The music is a good, like, if it's a good feeling music, you'll get that response. If it feels good to the listener and your audience, because a lot of people have, I'm sure they've listened to all of our lives and hit us up and said, you know what, thank you for doing what you did, because it changed my mood today. And it made me feel so much better about myself. And that song you played, I can't believe that you played it, or I heard it and it changed my complete mood. That's the power that the music has. And if we can get people in that space of, and that feeling, they'll come out really happy. Now, where we're gonna be after this, I don't know, but I think every artist, DJ, anybody who's in this industry has to, the one thing I've learned, and I've sat down and I've had my moments of ups and downs. And the one thing I've realized is that after all of this, my goal is to be better than what I was.
Amen.
That's for every artist, every DJ, producer, you name it. This is that time.
To add to that, right? I think that right now it's a level playing field, right, in the music industry. So my prayer is that the soca artists, the soca industry could up the game right now.
Yes, for sure. How do you think that our community can support DJs more? Because I've heard, a lot of complaints come from, varying persons talking about a lack of support when it comes to, our community supporting our DJs and our artists. So tell, everyone that's listening, they're here for you guys. They're watching because obviously they want to learn more about what you guys are doing and so forth. So how can they support you guys more? Okay, we're just gonna say Walsh go first, and then everybody else.
Yeah.
Max,
I got an answer for that. So here's what I say. First of all, we don't want to focus on things that we can't force people to do. I do believe there's just an organicness to it. So when we're asking the audience, how can they support us? I think that if they are already doing it, they already know how. If they're not doing it, they just don't want to.
Okay.
And that's okay. And so I don't believe it's the audience, I don't believe it's their job to do anything but what they feel to do. And so a shout out to everybody that has supported me, supported my brothers and sisters in the chat. And I believe that they have found ways to support. And of course, simple things. Watching the live is the simplest one. The biggest number one way to support, if you are already supporting and you already know this, is to hit that share button. Man, that share button means a lot. And if you're watching this YouTube right now, hit that share button. That share button means a lot. It means a lot. Otherwise, there's always things like a Patreon or a PayPal or Cash App and Venmo. You like what somebody did, you think that what they did was awesome, you could always drop a little tip. But again, if I'm not saying anything that you guys don't know. So I'm not creating or being creative. You know how to support, and if you choose not to, we still love you. It's quite all right.
100%. I mean, one thing I will say is that, one thing during this time is DJs have learned to invest in themselves and expand their brand to become more of a creative. And that to me is the biggest thing for us. And then so you'll get that genuine organic feedback just by investing in yourself and letting people know, say, hey, I'm doing this on Friday or I'm doing this on Saturday. Let me know if you come out, support, And those who come out and support, you start with that little niche group and it will build organically. And that's the thing, like, it's funny because Walt said something very key earlier about the fakes on the Instagram. When we're all doing Instagram lives, it sets a tone when you can't fake the people who follow you. The people who want to follow you will genuinely follow you and support you 100%.
Correct. Does anyone else want to jump in on that? Barrie?
Man, I want to just go back to artists. Artists, please understand that you can make money more than one way. There are, for example, let's say your song is Hello, that's your song. All of a sudden, a company like T-Mobile is trying to find a particular way to get that particular slogan, or this works perfectly with what we're doing. All of a sudden, if you own your master, you just got yourself a hell of a check. So use this downtime right now, if you don't already know, to get up on the entertainment business. Learn your business. So when things quote unquote get back to normal, you'll be good. But learn your business now, because there's other ways to make money than just performing. I understand performance is what probably pays us the most. But if you're up on your business, then you'll be like this one artist in Jamaica, which Walshy will say his name, that got a $2 million check.
Right. Okay, so I will move on to the next question, which is, so, given that it's a very sensitive time in the world right now, a lot of people are on edge and just, there's a lot of tragedy, around us. We as Caribbean people have always been taught to not address our feelings. Our parents will say, drink tea and go and sleep. You don't need to go and air out your dirty laundry with anybody. You can deal with your own problems. We've seen a rise in health struggles amongst our community. How do you guys think that, we as a people can break the stigma of not talking about our issues?
Man, I'm not the issue. I'm not the emotion guy. I'm the money guy. So I'm just going to not answer this one. You guys, somebody jump in here.
Are you talking like mental health wise? You're talking?
Yeah. So I kind of wanted to just, segue a little bit because I find that, within our community, there's a lot of mental health cases and, struggles and issues. And it's something that we don't talk about. So more and more, I'm trying to use my platforms, my different platforms, to kind of highlight and speak about it, because I think that it's important, especially now more than ever, that we highlight these things so that people can start feeling more comfortable within their circles to talk about the issues that they're facing, right? So, given that you guys are, all influencers and so forth, how do you guys think that we can, help break that stigma? Because it's important for us to share with each other, because we don't know what people are going through behind closed doors. And the Caribbean, that's how we've been taught. We've always been taught to stifle our feelings, to not share, because, why are you going to a therapist? Just drink some tea, go and sleep tomorrow morning. You'll wake up and you'll be fine. That's always been the mentality that we've been, conditioned to have. So I just wanted to kind of touch on that and see how maybe, we can, break that stigma.
I mean, I can sort of touch on that one a little bit, because my wife teaches special needs kids, and those kids, like, during this time where you had, like, they canceled everything. So they canceled school, they canceled live stage shows, big performances, everything. We're all been quarantined for like 3, 4, 5, 6 months, whatever. I think it's very important to touch on mental health. And I always tell people this: check on your friends, check on your family, make sure that they're good. Don't let it just be a thing that we're trending about, or we're just talking about it for a like or a follow. It really check on people who really need it, because mental health is a real thing. I mean, not to bring it up, I mean, Look at Kanye. As much as people want to meme about him, that dude is going through it, and he doesn't have real people in his corner. He doesn't have real people who love him to talk to him and say, listen, you need to do X, Y, Z. You need to take care. Like, nobody's taking care of him. And as much as it looks and sounds so crazy, and sometimes you do want to laugh at it, but there are real people out there struggling with it every single day. So my advice to people always, especially during this time, because yes, you weren't making the money you were making before. No, you weren't making you couldn't go to the job, or you might have lost your job. The important thing is to check on people, check on your friends, check on your family if you really, really care about them.
I think that's very, very important to mention that. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Anna.
Sorry, it's fine. You can go ahead. I'll jump in after you. It's cool.
I think it's very, very important for people to know that your friend, your colleague, your brethren, your sister that you know may be in a totally different space. For example, I'm just going to call it in. Let's say Spice. Let's say Spice was, as we all know, he was a touring DJ doing his thing, whatever. And now nobody in Spice's household is now not making a dollar. So Spice has now gone from being not just the person who was the man of the house to the only person bringing in income for the house. All of a sudden, the responsibility on Spice's shoulders is way bigger than before. So now when you're calling Spice your brethren that you normally would call, yo, Spice, have a new tune, yo, Spice. Spice's responsibilities now are now a lot higher, and there's a lot more pressure on him. And so because of that, please remember when you're talking to your friends, colleagues, brethren, sisters, etc., that their headspace may not be where you think it is. So please be mindful of that. Please be respectful of that. And as Jester said, check on them. Check on them often. I didn't say check on them every 5 minutes, but make sure your people are good, because that's very, very important.
Yep, 100%.
Sorry, yeah. Spice.
Like 200%. You don't know. It's like, just check on your people, because from, like, I was in Trinidad up until like March 8th. Came back to New York, then the lockdown happened. So just check on your people, because you don't know. People could be by themselves. You don't know.
Yeah. Wellness checks are very, very important, especially because, you know, a lot of us, someone said this to me the other day, because I was having a debate with one of my girlfriends, and she was like, you know, you're an extrovert. And in my mind, I don't really consider myself an extrovert. And somebody broke it down to me where they said, you know, Kerra's an introvert, but she has learned to become an extrovert because of the entertainment industry. So deep down, I like to be alone. I like to, just be by myself and so forth. But I'm also going through it. As much as I like to be in the limelight, introvert and extroverts are both going through it right now. Some people are missing seeing people, and then some people are just very lonely. So I think at this point, wellness checks are very, very, very important for everyone. Anna, sorry, I don't know if you wanted to chime in there.
Oh yeah, I just wanted to say that I guess sometimes as an entertainer, it's hard to be vulnerable with the general public, and a lot of us, like for me, for example, I'm a personal kind of keep to myself kind of girl. So in a way, like I like to keep my personal life separate. But I think now is the time to really share the range of emotions that you are feeling with the general public, so that people could kind of understand that we all kind of feel in the same way, and we all are going through these similar range of emotions just like they are, and starting to figure out ways to just share information. Like I feel since the whole pandemic had set in, I started trying to find and research a little bit more about mental health and trying to share that information on my pages, because it was not only for people, but it was also for myself to kind of understand how to deal with the range of emotions, because on a daily you could feel so many different emotions throughout this time, from confusion to you could even find yourself being sad, then you sometimes finding yourself being randomly happy. It's such a weird time, and all of us are now understanding how to deal with one, not traveling anymore, not having as many jobs, and we are all, I would like to say, people persons. We are accustomed to interacting with so many people, meeting so many new people, and I feel that kind of fuels all of our energies. So not having that one-on-one interaction with people is a whole new transition. So being able to show that human element and say, hey guys, we are all the same in a way. We feel exactly the same way that you do, and we are going through it. I think that's important, even though it's super tough. It can be super tough because people can be judgmental.
I completely agree with that. I think that vulnerability now more than ever is needed because, like you said, people will look at you guys and see you guys on a pedestal, and they don't know that, at home you're going through the struggles, whether it be internally with your family, with your friends, whoever. A lot of people are going through things. So it's all about being relatable. People want to see and say that, wow, Anna, had a breakdown yesterday. It's not something that you necessarily need to put on social media, but, you can kind of go through the process by posting the things that you posted to help other people because it's also helping you. So it's very, very important to share, and show people that you really are relatable, right? So
And I feel like on the side too, now it's important for people that follow us and people that support us to be a little bit more understanding of our human element, and for them to understand that, as I said, we are like them, so we do feel the same emotion. So when we share it, to reciprocate that love and that understanding is important, and that means you will to us as well.
for sure. So I want to, end on like a high note. So first I'm going to say, so if you guys each had to describe yourself in 3 words, what would be the 3 words that describes who you are? Mr. Fire, would you like to go first this round?
My 3 words are I got an answer.
That's actually 4.
I gotta
Gotta.
answer. I gotta answer. I'm done. That's it. Big up everybody. Thank you guys, man. Really appreciate being here.
Oh,
And
God.
love you. And love
Barrie?
every one of y'all.
Barrie, what are your 3 words?
My 3 words. Wow. Respect, grateful, and I guess gratitude kind of goes into grateful, but it's very important. Gratitude. Be thankful for every moment, every single moment.
Oh, you want me to go? Is this? There's no.
Okay, so before Jester, before you go, so the question is actually describe 3 words that describe you. So not
Okay.
3 words. I mean, I love that you wanted to leave that with those words, so that's fine. But for the rest of you guys, so describe 3 words that would describe you. Sorry.
Oh, okay. It's like that.
Mm.
I guess persistent, confident, thankful.
Okay. And Anna?
Is it 3 words that describe us currently or just in general?
You are,
like at this point in my life, I feel like today I would have 3 different words from generally.
It's not an easy question, to be honest with you, man. Like,
Yeah.
God damn, this is a hard ass question.
Well, that's how interviews are. It's supposed to.
Exactly. And listen, you guys are lucky that I didn't ask you to describe the color yellow to a blind person, because then you would tell me,
But I
that's
will
a
say,
question.
this much. It's just that we have a time limit. We got 2 minutes. And
Mhm.
everybody got to answer this hard ass question.
We can go over like 2 to 3 minutes. I'm sure the audience will be more than happy to hear you guys. So
Shout out DJ Buddha.
Yo,
Man.
Buddha. Big up to all the DJs, big up to all the fans, big up to all the families. Make sure that everyone is good during this pandemic. What gems I'm gonna leave with you is that love is the message. All right, that's what I'm gonna
amen.
leave. Love is the message.
Wow.
Okay, so noted. I'm not gonna ask you guys these 3 words.
Yeah, don't ask the next panel that. Yo,
No,
just
no, it's not on their questionnaire.
Okay, yeah, but I think Spice just did the best thing, yo. What's like
No, he did.
just like something positive to end it, like
For
me
sure.
killing these mosquitoes. God,
Yo, they're killing me over here, man.
Carol, but
So Jamaica
I
got the
Carol.
mosquitoes. St. Lucia got the mosquitoes. Toronto have mosquitoes too.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Bro.
Mosquitoes in
So
Trinidad.
I'm so grateful that you
Carol,
guys-
as a word right now,
Go ahead, sorry.
I think the word right now that I feel a lot of us are feeling is definitely gratitude.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm happy that we are all able to still be as close as possible to who we really are throughout this hard time when a lot of people are going through a lot of downfalls, a lot of hard times. So I would say my current word is gratitude, and I'm just grateful for being able to have some opportunities at this point in time.
Yeah.
I think one word I want to add to that is diversify. If there's one thing that this has taught me right now is diversify or diversification.
Yeah.
Don't stick in one lane. If this taught you anything, if you learned anything from this, learn diversification.
Awesome. Well, I want to say thank you to each one of you for being here with me today. It means the world that you guys took time to come and share this knowledge and share wisdom and just, chit chat with the people. So, Walshy, try not to kill yourself killing those mosquitoes with that device that you have there.
Burn them up.
Congratulations on everything that you guys have all been doing. Very proud of each one of you, and I'll continue to support you guys. Again, thank you to Digicel for powering this first session as well as the second session. But yeah, if you guys have, just want to say a couple parting words, totally up to you. But again, thank you for
Big up to
sharing.
you, Kerra. You understand? We got to salute you for
Yeah, man. Big up Kerra, man.
Yeah, man.
Put
Kerra,
this
thank you.
platform together. You
Follow,
understand?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Follow right here.
Follow.
All of
I
your
got
IDs
an
are
answer at Walshy Fire.
At DJ Spice NYC, at DJ Anna, at Walshy Fire, at Kerra Denel, at Barrie Hype, at This Is Jester. All right?
follow.
Follow everybody.
Yeah, man.
Follow everybody.
Yes.
Love many, trust few, always paddle your own canoe.
Lots of love. Bye, guys.
Peace.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
Later,
I'm
later.
staying for the next chat.
Same.
Okay. Okay. Hi. Screen. Hey, everyone.
Hello.
Hi.
Yo,
Boy.
Oh, you guys
Wagwan.
all got that good lighting. Okay. Hey,
I
everybody.
think mine can be even better, babe. Yeah, I gonna
So,
fix
G,
mine.
I would suggest turning your camera
Wait.
horizontally.
Hold
Oh
on.
God, Kerra. Let's see.
There we
There
go.
we go.
Perfect.
Yay, that's more of me. You like that better?
Much better.
Hi. Hi,
Yo.
family.
Wagwan.
I hear, boy.
So
I hear.
we're waiting on Steven, Mr. International Steven.
Stevie, where are you?
Gonna just
Mr. Internationally
update everyone's
fashionably.
IDs on there. Right? B2BENT is your IG, right? Okay, so I updated yours. Ryan, I'm gonna edit yours as well so people can see your IG names. Thank you to everyone that stayed for the second session. Welcome to everyone that's joining for the second session.
Your.
There we go. See, yours is good. Back to basics. Let's do Wassi. Oh, Puffy already know the thing there. Okay.
I pick up on the pattern.
Somebody said in the chat that this is the Bacchanal crew.
There's the Bacchanal
Oh,
crew.
where's the
Mm.
chat?
Why
I
they
don't know
put
what
me in
how I
it?
see.
Wow.
This is the Bacchanal crew.
I said, wow.
Oh yeah.
Okay, never mind.
We have no bacchanal when I'm here, boy.
Somebody
No,
upside
none at all.
down
None
before
at
we
all.
leave.
Bacchanal? What is that?
Is anyone on their phone except for Wassi?
What?
Is anyone using their phone except for G?
Oh no, I'm not on my phone.
I'm not using
Okay. Okay, because I was trying to figure out how to tell her to see where the chat is. So the chat should be like.
I saw it already. Y'all don't want me to do that. It's just all you will tell me what they say in the chat, right? We go deal with that.
Oh goodness. Well, you know what? We'll just jump right into this, and if Stevie, shows up, then we will add him in at that point.
It's Carnival in St. Lucia,
I would
so
have been the late one tonight. No lie.
You thought that you were going to be the
I
late
thought
one?
I was gonna be the late one for sure.
But Puffy, how?
Steven.
I was on the road.
Steven tripping behind a bread van on the road right now.
You have a bread van in St. Lucia, and he's definitely chipping.
Oh goodness. Well, let me first start off by saying thank you all for joining me today and joining our fans and subscribers and followers and so forth. To those of you who have just joined in, this is the second session of Plugged In today, and we have Giselle the Wassi one, DJ Private Ryan, DJ Puffy, and Back to Basics here with us. So thank you guys all for tuning in. Again, this episode is powered by Digicel, so thank you to Digicel Grenada for keeping us powered and charged. So I think, oh, here we go. Okay. So I've seen, some of you guys have done lives and so forth during this time. So let's talk about how has each one of you guys been coping during the pandemic? Have you guys been focusing on building your brand, reconnecting with family? Like, how have you guys been dealing, with everything that's happening? So I'll give each of you an opportunity to speak. I guess we can start with, boss lady Giselle.
Ladies first.
Well, for me, I mean, at the end of the day, when you are overwhelmed with business at times, sometimes God has a way of making you still. So I've chosen at this point to be still to a certain degree. I'm working on myself in terms of me, Giselle, as a person, how I feel about what I'm doing and what's happening in my life. And it's Stevie's here. Welcome, Stevie.
Sorry, guys.
And more for me at this time, it's really about plugging in, no pun intended, but plugging in with the people that I love. Sometimes we have to reevaluate our purpose in life, and I definitely know that my purpose is that I'm a grounding figure when it comes to the people that I love. So I've just really been kind of plugging into that, and trying to cope with the fact that I don't get to see my parents as often as I would like to. Missing the hell out of all of you. you know, having nothing when it comes to finances coming in besides wind and flies in the house. You know what I mean? Real talk. What I do now is, I have a lot of passions, and you know that, Kerra. A lot of passions.
I don't mean to cut you, but I also don't want them to miss what you're saying. So, guys, if you have a second device that you're watching or listening to, can you mute it? Because there's a huge echo happening.
There's an echo. There's an echo from somebody's phone, so somebody's live is coming through the microphone. So just mute
Okay,
it.
so it's not yours because yours is clear.
Mine's
Is
good.
it me?
Ricardo's good.
Is it me?
Nope. Puffy's good.
Is it me?
Nope. Now we're good. There we go.
The culprit don't want to admit it. The culprit don't want to admit it. I think
Is
it's
it me?
I think it's Stephen.
Is it
Yeah,
me?
it was. Steven came in late and want to mash up my whole show.
You see, he just muted. There you go.
Okay. Sorry, G. Yes. Apologies, guys.
Yeah, so like I said, I have many passions. I have my online boutique that has slowed down as well. But one of my other passions is cooking. So every Wednesday in South Florida is Wassi Wednesday. I cook food on Wednesdays. That's what I've been doing. At the end of the day, let me tell you something. You see, Wassi, unlike a lot of the others who have spoken and probably said, that they curated their brands and they did all of these amazing things to become who they are, this kind of just happened. This is probably who I was born to be. And this just really and truly happened. And I've been blessed to be here and be relevant. You know what I mean? And I live as me. And I do me. I do what feels good to me. And at this point, this is what I need to do. Like I said, I reach out to my brothers and my sisters on a regular, and we do our vibe. We do our thing. Right now, it's about living. It's about appreciating what you have more than anything else, and being grateful for the opportunities that we have had and may not ever have again. You understand what I'm saying? That those are those reality. It's the reality check. I'm dealing with my reality. I'm dealing with my reality check, Kerra. That's what I'm dealing with.
Okay, I love it. All right, so Puffy, what about you?
Man, it's been a roller coaster for me, man. The first 2 weeks of lockdown, I did absolutely nothing. I slept and was just a couch potato and played PlayStation for 2 weeks. And then after that, I found a weird momentum in the production space. You know what I mean? And that's been a really interesting world to kind of dabble into, because I was doing it before, but not this much. And I know Stephen could testify to that because of the products that we have coming up for you guys, and from my, because the really special, man, really special. And it just happened for me, kind of just seeking knowledge about something and then trying something out, and being able to say, okay, well, I don't have anything better to do, so I might as well try something new. And then it just ended up being these products that we have. We got 20 records on the shelf right now, and that's not like, that's facts. I got a rhythm coming out in a couple weeks that Scratch actually just sent me the masters for. So yeah, man.
Okay.
The production has been interesting. I'm now back on radio, back on slam, back to the roots. You don't know, and that's been a great thing because I'm now bringing all of these people who joined the journey after Red Bull back into where the space that I was at before Red Bull, and they're now seeing a whole new Puffy. So yeah, man, it's been fun, and a lot of small personal tweaks and having some fun, reconnecting with friends, family, and of course the fan base online. All that has been going on. So yeah.
Okay. And Ryan, how about you?
Well, boy, funny enough, this year was supposed to be the year that I said that I was gonna kind of try and take a slower, schedule, because I've been traveling nonstop. Could be for like about 15 years straight now. So this is me being an FIU straight till Carnival 2020. I have been going nonstop, and I was like, I wanted to find a space to kind of just, reset the body, make sure that, I get a little balance on those things. And it just so happened that COVID happened. So for me, it's been a good opportunity to like rest. Like I exercise every day now, which is something that during traveling I couldn't do as much.
Yeah.
Right? You get a more control in terms of what you eat, how much you get sleep. But it's also been the beginning of a really, really great journey for me. So, people have known me for years as the silent DJ behind the turntables and just playing. But like since I've started doing my lives, I have actually introduced people to my actual personality, which everyone here in this chat knows. But I don't think the world knew before I started actually. I actually started talking and doing my thing, and really being able to introduce music and showcase my versatility in that way. And much like Puffy, I have been in an interesting production space. So just following up from Feely Love and all the things that I've done, I have literally made like maybe 1 or 2 beats a day and have been coming up with songs. And this is since quarantine, which means I have quite a bit of music that I just have there to flesh out. And it's really interesting because, it's experimental, but it's like me. It just speaks to like my spirit and what I want to do with music and just, take any risks. And, so there's all that. It's also been a great time to connect with family, friends, do things I haven't been able to do. I've been able to make more mixes and be more consistent. So it's been a lot. Like we've been at a standstill. Of course, all the events are off. I will not be like everybody here. I won't be traveling. There'll be no Soca Brainwash, no any events for 2020. So, just about pivoting. But I've been able to accomplish some good things too. Like I did the charity, so I was able to raise funds for charity as well too. We were able to give to a lot of homes around Trinidad food packages. I was able to do the Day of Love where I was able to invite the artists to come on and do, a whole online, festival for them. So it's the first time you saw Kess and Co and a lot of them do their songs. So yeah, I've just been on that creative space, and I've been loving it.
Okay, nice. And back to basics.
Well, I think the first thing that I appreciated, first of all, there's pros and cons to COVID, and I think the thing that I benefited and enjoyed most with COVID was to reconnect and catch up with my family, right? That was the most important thing because as all of us know, all of us DJs, entertainers, everybody who's here knows that what we do, as glamorous as it looks, which it is, and it's fun and everything, but it does come with a price. And it definitely takes a toll on your time. You cannot make 25 hours in a day. And most of our days were spent entertaining. And last year alone, I calculated minus if I had surgery last year, and with surgery, I probably only spent about 20% of the year in my house. Had I not had surgery, it probably would have been less. So that takes me away from my family, from my friends, from my son. Those are the things I took advantage of when this happened, to catch up with that and do things with my family, namely my son. We spend a lot of time away from each other. He understands, but it does take a lot of it takes a toll on your family life. So first and foremost, I took advantage of that. The second thing I did, I just laid my ass on the couch for about a month. Because I needed the rest.
Rest, yeah.
It's
Potato gang.
Yeah. Just like what Puffy said. It's we don't really realize how much energy and how much we put into what we do and how much of a toll it takes on our body, right? That when you actually resting and have the time to do it, it was the best feeling in the world. So I took roughly about 3 weeks to a month of just doing absolutely nothing. And, for that, that was a positive part of COVID. The other part of COVID was adjusting to what I'm normally used to, which wasn't happening again, which was actually entertaining people, being with my peers, being with my friends, being on that stage is something that I definitely miss, and I look forward to at some point in my life to come back again. But the time away from it gave me a chance to it's almost, everybody could safely say they pushed the reset button in some way, shape or form, in some way, whether it be for your body, for health, to exercise, to eat better, to like you said, with family, friends, reinventing yourself as a brand, thinking about what you need to do when you come back, which means, getting into your music, playing around with your thing, reinventing stuff, making sure that when things get back to some level of normalcy, that you come out fresh and come out, hard and different, and that's one of the things that you need to do coming out of COVID. If you're going into COVID and you're coming out song and the same, then something wrong.
Yeah.
As an entertainer, or you're doing the same thing, then something's wrong. But for me, I did that. I got into the lives like everybody else. Like I said, I went in a little later than everybody else because I really, really wanted to enjoy that time to do nothing. Like y'all don't understand how doing nothing was just unbelievable. That just a great feeling. But then it comes a point where you can say, well, what now? After that's done, and you realize you're rested. What do I do now? And then you start thinking of the things that you need to do to get up and get the ball rolling, and how do you subsidize for the things that you've lost, your income flow and all that. How do you subsidize that? How do you keep your brand consistent? How do you do all those things? And that's what I've been doing for the past couple of months through this ordeal.
Okay, thanks for sharing that. International Steven, welcome to the party. No, Puffy,
what's the question?
Puffy, you gotta do it. Welcome to the party.
Hi. What's up?
I'm like, can we
Hey.
Are we frozen?
What was the question? I didn't hear the question. I just heard everybody giving, what was the question? I want to know.
Doing a quick intro before I get into the actual, questions. Just asking, how have you been coping during the pandemic?
Okay. That's it? Anything else? That's how
And
you doing?
then we're going to go into the questions.
All right. For me, boy, it's been pretty interesting. I'm somewhat of an old man in a young kid's body. I wouldn't call myself a kid, but who know me know there's an old soul in here somewhere. And I'm not gonna lie, the things I really saw myself doing when I retired is the things that I really gotten into now. Like I'm gardening. I'm doing everything around my house. We're painting. Today I was actually, the reason I'm late actually is because I was using my weed whacker that I bought that against my wife's will. But I cut my own yard now. And so I was a little late to, try and prepare her dinner. So, I've just been doing it all. And these are things that I really enjoy doing. Training the dogs, watching TV, Netflix like everybody else. Musically, I've been dabbling in a production, as you guys would have known. My wife and I put out the Big Mood Rhythm. We've been doing a lot of work behind the scenes. As Puffy said, there's tons of things coming. Puffy, you're a beast, boy. What? Y'all don't even know what's coming. That's a beast right there. Not even on the scratch tip. You know what I mean? So I'm just excited about so many things. Working on a couple albums, with different people on the executive producer tip. I got so many projects, so many rhythms, and I haven't stopped working on those things. Been sending beats to the same people, to Marshalls and the Skinnies and Liros and Wassi. She don't answer. She phone have a bad song for she not getting it again. All them things. So for me, you know what?
Okay, Stevie. Let me tell everybody then. I had a bad week. I cried for the majority of the days of the week. The girl never sent the lyrics. What you want me to say now?
Anyway, I'm
This is the Bacchanal crew, This is why they said that.
Where's that one, babe?
Yeah.
So, but for the most part, I'm not gonna lie, guys. I really, COVID has given me the opportunity to truly appreciate, you know, the things that I've been working so hard for. I'm truly blessed. You know, it's been really amazing to be home here, especially getting to spend time with my wife and then to just enjoy. Since we got married, we've just been going nonstop. You know, we spend time on the road too. I'll come home for a little weekend, so it's been really amazing to be home. To sharpen up my cooking skills. She loves to eat, as everybody knows. Big Z loves to eat. she on a diet right now, so I'm cooking some new diet thing she on. That's what I'm cooking these days. So it's special thing now, salt less thing and all kind of thing. But I'm enjoying it same way, you know. It's been really good. Like, I'm not gonna lie, the things that I'm really concerned about. You know, I'm fortunate that she's working and she's here. You know, so that she can hold down things, because as everybody knows, we ain't making much right now. You know, but so I'm very fortunate in that aspect. But you know, it's been amazing. I miss my family. I miss my friends. I miss you guys, being able to see you guys on a weekend, hug up, love up, and yo, is you seeing take 2 drinks? I miss that a lot. I'm not gonna lie. I haven't touched the CD player. I haven't touched the controller at all. You know, I've turned down every gig, paid or non-paid. I've turned it down. I'm not in that frame of mind. But you know, the production side, we've been doing a lot of things, a lot of projects. I've been developing my agency. That's been really fun to do, because you know, slowing down is enabling me to see how much resources that I really have, how connected I really am. So when I'm ready to release a project, it's gonna be like a, you know. So as you guys been seeing with the Big Mood, you know, Big Z really put her foot in that. So it's been fun to just watch her do her thing and just connect the dots for her. And you know, I ain't gonna lie, man. COVID really been. If I were to rate pros and cons, I'm more on the pro side, to be honest. You know, I miss my kids a lot because they're not close to me, but I talk to them every single day, like throughout the day, FaceTime all day, every day. So it's been a positive for me, you know, minus the not being able to earn aspect, of course. But you know, I could sell food like Wassi too. My food on point these days. Don't get tired. Don't get tired. Yeah. That's it. That's it.
Wassi selling food, and
I could make a boil corn. I could sell a wicked boil corn. I could be all right. I could sell a wicked boil
corn. I
corn.
become an inspiration just so.
Yeah.
You know, it's really a good thing that I kept this crew for last, because you guys, if you guys were first, we would have ended up.
For sure.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask you guys all individual questions, and then we can have like an open discussion. So, basics. You're the main producer of Shine and other parties, and a very well-known international DJ. We've seen the natural progression with you, you know, when it comes to becoming a DJ, I should say. So I know you started out with a crew called Sound City, and then evolved into being a solo DJ. So we see this a lot when it comes to, you know, DJs, where they start off sometimes with a sound and then they branch off and then they do the solo thing. So what would you say are the pros and cons of being part of a sound crew versus being a solo DJ?
Well, I mean, it depends. It depends on the individual. I mean, there's some DJs I think do better with a crew, you know, and there are some DJs who can do it on their own. So I guess it depends on the individual. I was fortunate that the crew that I was with helped me build the foundation to be a good solo DJ. So it wasn't just about whether I think I could have done it or not. I definitely have to attribute and acknowledge that when I was with that crew Sound City back in those days, I learned a lot. Like I learned a lot being with those guys. Back in those days, when I was with them, a gig means saying I'm out of town was going to Boston. You know what I mean? Was going to that was our outer tongue. Now outer tongue for us could be Berlin. You know what I mean? But those days we didn't know anything about going out of the country. It was nothing more than 4 hours away, 4 or 5 hours away. DC, Miami was a long haul. But still, I learned those things. Those were my first. You know what I mean? So when I evolved and became my own entity and became solo, and I I knew how to network and knew how to create from on my own, rather than depending on a group or depending on a leader of that group to create it for me, right? I made connections as a group, and then I just continue those connections and build on those connections as years go by. And I watched the evolve. I think I grew with the evolving too of the DJ, as particularly the what we call the soca DJ. You know what I mean? Back in those days, we didn't have nobody labeled themselves an international DJ. And in some ways, I don't still consider myself an international DJ. I consider myself a DJ. A DJ that plays all over. But nevertheless, I mean, the label, I'll take it. But back then, being when you were DJing in that time frame, I kind of grew with it. Like, whereas we were doing the interstate type things, and then we started dabbling into Canada and Toronto, and then we started going out of Miami, and then we started touching Jamaica. My first Jamaica, I think, was 2006, 2005, 2006. No, Jamaica Carnival did not start 3 years ago, like everybody thinks. It did not start 3 years ago. So I watched these things grow. My first time to St. Lucia, where Stephen was 2009. My first time in Grenada, even though these things were happening, was 2000. So I mean, you see what I'm saying? It's like, even though these carnivals and these things are now trending, I kind of grew with it. You know what I mean? I grew with each individual carnival. Now I watch. The first time I went to London, I paid my way and went to London just to fet. I just said, and I need to get away from New York. I went to fet. You know what I mean? I want to experience something different. And then I became a fixture in London for London Carnival. So so I can say I grew with it. So to answer your question, I mean that there's also always a benefit of being on your own. I guess it just depends on the individual. You know what I mean? As to if they can actually accomplish that.
Right. I'm just gonna cut. So someone's phone keeps going off in the background. Whoever's phone it is, please.
You know what? That's me.
Stephen just said that.
I can't afford two phones. I just say
I had to.
That's me.
I'm gonna see. Well, wait now. Is my phone on?
Everybody else in this group have iPhone. Nice card.
And Stephen
I know that.
just said.
I know my friends on here.
Laumina. Just Laumina. Right?
Hey, this man sabotaging
Oh
everything.
God. When you know your friends.
Yeah.
Oh God. But thank you for that answer, Kato. So Puffy.
Yo.
Now you've mentioned you've done Red Bull Freestyle. You're on radio. You curate your own events, and now you've released a full-on EP, just music, Dream in Color. Congratulations on that, by the way.
Thank you.
This EP, is 4 songs with no words. So
no words.
my question to you is, were you concerned about how this would be received by the public? What was your thought process in creating something so out of the box?
I really didn't think about it much, to be honest. I kind of just went with the flow and was like, yo, like Dream in Color is basically all the influences that's been like bouncing off of me for the last like 4 or 5 years. Just all my experiences, whether it is in the Caribbean soca realm or it's outside of that, it's all of that put into 4 songs, So you could definitely hear the different influences in every single song, and not having any words was completely okay, because some of my favorite songs don't have any words in them. Right. You know what I mean? I just wanted it to be a complete artistic expression, a really genuine artistic expression. And that's what it ended up being, there are hit records without lyrics, so I was not even concerned about that. I just wanted to express myself and show people a side of me that, I've never been able to show people. Mm-hmm. So that's all it was. I definitely didn't think about, oh, people don't can care because they don't have any lyrics. I was just like, I know where it should be placed, and I'm okay with that.
Okay. And
Yeah.
how has it been? How has the response been?
It was insane because people were like, yo, I didn't know you could make this type of music. And then I was like, what is this type of music? And I was like, I don't know what it is, but it's so cool. You know, like, yes, you can hear the influences, but there's not, like, you can't put one tag and say, this is hip hop, this is reggae, this is Afro, this, you know, you can hear the influences from everything, and every song has a story. And that's what I really love about it.
Brilliant. Well, congrats on that again.
Grazie.
Stephen, so we have seen you go from DJ to promoter to carnival producer to music producer. You know, you have the Hollywoods, the Atlantas, the Spain. You know, you've done a lot. So what is your end game? You know, like for you, why, in your opinion, was DJing not enough? Why was it important for you to keep building on different levels in the industry?
Legacy. Simple. You know what I mean? I mean, you know, I have 3 kids. For me, when I'm done, you know, what was daddy? What did daddy do? How did he change the game? How did he change the world? How did he change people? How did he touch people? How did he help people? You know what I mean? So, you know, a lot of what I do, I put passion into it. You know, if you know me, you know, I'm passionate about people I love. I'm passionate about the things that I do. So I'm always the one pushing so fast or going so fast that everybody has to be like, okay, well, hold on. Let's make a good plan here. Pull me, rope me back in. You know what I mean? Because I just want to do so much for the culture, so much for my people, you know. And that's pretty much been it. You know, when you look at people like, not to say I'm comparing myself, but when you look at people like Jay-Z and Diddy and these guys, you know, the amount of things that they have done and accomplished for their culture, you know, it's not impossible for somebody from our culture to do it. Not saying I'm that person, but I'm aspiring to be, and I'm trying. You know what I mean? I'm gonna always put my best foot forward. And you know, when I'm gone, hopefully you guys could say the same things about me. All of you should have the same thing to say about Steven. You know, it shouldn't be different opinions.
Yeah. I wish I had Barrie fire thing.
I
right
know.
now.
We need to
I wish I had
it.
Yeah,
Barrie has.
that's what it is for me.
Yeah, no, that is a really great answer. Thank you so much for that. Wow.
Right.
And Ryan, so, you know, we've all gone to, I feel like I can't even count the amount of times I've walked into somewhere and I've heard a private Ryan mix. You know, like I've gone to backyard parties where there is no DJ and people are just, you know, doing a private Ryan mix in the dance, right?
I'm here to my bar mitzvah.
You see what I mean? So you have, you know, consistently been releasing mixes. You know, that's kind of in the early stages, you know, how this all came together. So nowadays, you know, there are some DJs that put out a mix every weekend. Some might put out, you know, twice a week, or some just don't. Because you have, you know, you essentially built a brand from being consistent with your mixes. What would you say would be the pros and cons of, especially in today's day, of people, you know, putting out mixes versus not putting out mixes?
I think it's important because, I mean, for me, like I built my part of one, as Stephen mentioned, part of my legacy is going to be the footprint that I've made when it came to podcasting and mixes. Like there is literally a digital footprint of, let's say, I started making the mixes in 2005. So that's 15 years of consistent mixes that someone could reference history, like as in what music sounded like. And that is not just in soca, that's in dancehall, that's in Afrobeat, that's in hip hop, that's in a lot of things that I've done. In this time where people are at a standstill right now, you know, DJs have to find ways of being in the conversation or being relevant in different ways. And so, like, it's not to say that mixes are the only way, it's just one part of the whole puzzle. But I think it's important that anybody or any entertainer, you are now disconnected from your fans and if you support you in a physical way. So you need to find your pathway to now get to them. One of the pathways that I have made during my legacy is through the mixes. So it's important for me to continue to do that, regardless of whether I'm traveling or not. Like, I need to still service that part of it. So I don't really see any cons in it. The only challenge would be that because now everyone has more time, it means that everyone has the ability to make mixes. And so how do you pass through all of that and make your own identifiable way and sound of making something where people are using all the same library of music? But I think that's a pro. I don't think it's a con, because that is what is going to now define DJ's individuality, because how we piece it together is going to be the difference. And so when now you piece it together in different ways is when people are going to become fans of, I like how he mixes this, I like how she mixes this, I like how, and that is the magic of what makes it interesting, because now all of us are not carbon copies of each other. We're going to find individuality, we're going to find our way, and then now when we're live again, you're going to see the revolution and also the introduction of new talent along with the people who have been there with you. So I think, you just have to look at it in a positive way,
Okay, wonderful. Miss Wassi.
Yes, ma'am.
Last year, okay? So you are the woman with the most vibes on the microphone, okay? Sorry, Barrie. Have you ever been, on the ones and twos? Or, have you ever thought about being, actually pursuing DJing as, not to say have you ever
see how this young people
no,
think
no,
that's
no,
going
let me go.
I was waiting for that. I was waiting for that. I was Steven. Steven, I saw your face. Steven, I saw your face. I was waiting for that. I was waiting for that. I see Steven's face and both of you say, look, it's coming. Boom!
Pause. Let me say,
it's okay.
Why did you choose this lane to continue in, I should say, as an MC and being a host? Why did you choose this lane?
Kerra, I told you before, I did not choose anything. It happened. Everything when it comes to Wassi happened. Okay, let me give you an example why. Let me give you an example why. Because for one of the first Trinidad South Boy parties, they had Back to Basics there. So if he playing so good and he don't want to talk, because I don't know if all they know the Cardo that didn't talk. Why should I play when it had Cardo to play and I could talk? Then we have the FCSA. You understand? Why I need to play when it have this talented young man, he going to school, he trying to make his name and make his way. Why should I play when he could play for me and I could talk? You understand what I'm saying? I have been a person in my entire existence to fulfill a need. I'm not trying to be like anybody else. I've never tried to go down anybody's lane. Or if anybody here who knows me knows that I've always created my own lane, my own platform, my own way. You understand? So wherever I felt like there was a need, okay, so Cardo could tell you how Rise and Shine started in Miami. Carnival Friday morning, right? I was separating from Marlon, Trinidad South Boys, right? At that time, Dave Fredericks was doing Girl Power on Thursday nights. The majority of New Yorkers were coming into South Florida on Thursday night. After Girl Power, they had nothing to do until Flag Night. I tell you, I don't want to step on nobody's toes, so guess what? I wanted to be the first person, and I am the first person that introduced a breakfast party to South Florida. Selman Lewis gave me the venue of Solos on the Bay and Hollover Beach. May he rest in peace. And that was the first Rise and Shine and Back to Basics. And Marlon Trinidad South Boys stood outside of me at my events and watched the amount of people that came in and out. And they were like, hey, you're onto something. Let me do this. Big man thing. He right there. This is the story. You feel me? So like I say, I've never been that girl to try and be like anybody else. I've always been the person to, okay, this is what we're missing. Let me fill this little space. You understand? I want to work with my people and for my people, not against my people. As many events as there may be on a Friday morning now, what I did was done out of love and respect for the people who are already doing things, if you understand what I say.
Mm-hmm. So,
You know,
and I'm asking because there's obviously a lot of people that see you and will just automatically think like that's what Giselle does. She's an MC. So I'm glad that we're able to clarify, so that people can get a better understanding, because most people don't know you guys on a personal level. It's kind of a perception situation. So I ask questions like this so that they have a better understanding. Like, Giselle is not.
It was just fun that you asked the question in this crowd. That was not what was
right.
nice about it.
But I'm asking, I don't know, but I'm asking other people to, understand.
Kerra, it has to be said. I mean, before we go on that, Giselle, if there's one person I could say is a long-standing and needs to be respected person who has defended soca from day one to this day,
Oh my God!
Giselle is somebody
Don't make
who
me
has
cry
taken
here, you know.
taken soca on her back, and that is a fact, and she needs to be respected for that.
Yep,
big fact, big fact.
Amen.
Big facts.
I'm gonna pretend I'm a DJ for a second. So drop some fire in that chat if you're feeling what we're saying.
I don't know how we can do that. On my computer. Puffy, how you do that? Puffy's a technique.
Drop some fire in the chat, everybody. Drop some flames and emojis. I want to
let them do it or log in elsewhere.
Yeah, I can do it. I like that.
Well, Z, drop some fire for us in the chat. But no, I completely endorse that statement, Ryan. And that I'll segue into the next question for you, G. What advice would you give to young women coming up in this industry? Because this industry is a male-driven industry. So what advice would you give to women? Because you built a name for yourself. You have established yourself, your brand. You're very influential. Sorry. So what would you say to the young women that want to have a career in the entertainment industry? I see the fire emojis. Thanks, guys.
Well, let me just tell you this first and foremost, Kerra, is that I've never done anything based on being a woman. My drive has never been because I'm a woman. My drive has always been because of my passion, right? So let me just start by saying that. What I will say that I've seen, not that I've experienced, because every time I've experienced fornication, it was for pleasure. One thing I can tell everybody in this business, I never did that for any position, right? So what I will say is this, is that what you do to thine own self be true. And if you don't believe, nobody else will believe. I don't care what anybody tells me. You could sit here and pretend who you are on social media, who you may pretend to be on a microphone, who you may pretend to be because you have an opportunity to have a laptop. Who you are inside, and all of these people on this screen here today are proof of that. Who you are inside is what shines through and is what makes people love you. It have people who see me and they're like, oh God, she again, I can't stand she. And it have those people that when they see me, they feel nothing but love, and they feel what it is that I am. You understand? And that I can safely say is my legacy, that I am true to myself, and that I do. Okay, so Walshy, if he was here, he could tell you, I've had 1,000,001 opportunities. I could have been in Black China. I could have been in Stone Love. I could have been on 103.5 The Beat. I could have been on 99 Jams, but I wanted to be Wassi. You understand? And I probably gave up. I used to mic for Khaled. I gave up opportunity upon opportunity because I needed to be me. I can't not play a Baron. I can't not play a lyrical. That wouldn't work for me. Do you understand what I'm saying? I could do all of the other things, and probably would have excelled in all of it, but it wouldn't be me. You understand? And if anything else, I've been blessed to live and be me and create my legacy on being me and true to me. So to every single person, not just the women, but every person who has a seed in their heart or has a dream in their mind. You understand what I'm saying? The strongest thing that God gave you is that, your mind. Whatever you believe, you can achieve, but you have to genuinely believe. We can't fake believe in it. Plenty of people is fake believe. You have to really, really and truly believe. It had times when I doubted myself, and those who really and truly know me, my real people, they know that. But when I start to believe, well, that is when we say we unstoppable. You understand?
Preach, sister.
And I feel like I just went to church.
That's where I am.
Yeah, boy.
Eve again. Talk again, preacher. Yes, boy. Amen. Amen.
Oh, God, I'm going on like
oh, God. Amen.
Got ready for his like, ever seen a church?
Oh, don't worry, that's next. That's the next level.
Yeah, motivational speaker is right up your alley, G.
Yes,
right up your alley.
Yeah, that's your next question.
She does it all the time. We mean right up her alley.
You know, it's so funny because, we're talking about COVID and what COVID did for us. And Stevie, and Basics in particular too, who could testify that I speak to personally on a regular basis, that know me the inside of me, the heart of me, according to my song. You understand? And they you know, I told Stevie in particular when I was going and sell the food on a Wednesday, you know what the fellas turn around and tell me, sometimes that's what we like better about you is the fact that you could cook. So again, so with that being said, right? Like sometimes you have to know, you know, even me, like sometimes I feel my purpose here is not, maybe I'm good at what I do. I mean, I'll be a great MC or a personality or whatever, but I feel like my camaraderie and the love and the experiences and the cushion that I am sometimes to my peers, I think that that's my purpose more than anything else. You know what I'm saying? So you have to know. You have to know. And if COVID never taught me anything else, it taught me that I'm good with myself. That I have done it. I have made all of these people here know that I love them, how I feel about them, that I'm proud of them, that I'm here for them in any way, shape, or form, you know? And not just these people, but my family and my friends and the people who support me by extension, even the people who don't. I'm still always going to be here. I'm always going to pick my face up or pick myself up and dust myself off, and I'm going to try again. You know what this has taught us as well? That we're going to have to go back to basics. No pun intended. No pun intended. But we're going to have to go back to basics. You understand? We may not have the resources to put out a band that's going to slay with total frontline and thing. We might have to go back.
Well, let me plug. Teddy have a song coming out called Back to Basics in a couple of weeks. Look out for it. Teddy sing
Listen, we can't
play cut already, boy.
Immediate cut plate one time.
Yeah.
And I thought that when he sent it to me, but it's the theme of what we're going through now. A lot of us are going to have to go back to our authentic selves and to basics. You know what I mean? So go ahead, ask somebody else something. I don't talk.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask a few questions, and it's for open discussion, so everyone can kind of chime in. So the first question is: we've heard, you know, a lot of DJs speak about making or breaking a song. So, in your opinions, how important is it to have a relationship with the art? Like, okay, so how important is it for you to have a relationship with an artist? Like, how do you guys determine which song you should include in your mixes or your sets? And like, are you more inclined to play a song from your friend, or is a good song a good song?
A good song is a good song for me.
Good song is a good song.
A good song is a good song.
I didn't know any of these artists when I played their songs.
It just so happened that I have real talented friends, though.
I think your friend, I feel like you would definitely give it a little extra push just for that.
Yeah,
that's human bias. That's a natural thing. You know what I mean? But nah, a good song is a good song. How many of these artists that we play in our mixes and in our sets that we don't know, but we love the song and we love seeing how people react to the song. So
I have to say it would be very and the question, I mean all of the people here in this panel, they will play different stuff. It would be hypocritical of us to stand as ambassadors of soca music, especially because I think the direction of the question is more so geared towards the Caribbean content or soca music. It would be hypocritical of us to be able to play the latest Drake, the latest Vibes Cartel, and not defend our own culture. And so when the music comes out, that we cannot identify great music and give it the same platform that we would give to other genres. And I think one of the main things in the Caribbean is that we need, and even in the soca industry in particular, is like we need to appreciate and love our own and give the same energy and feel it and give it the sound effects and give it the argument and the delivery and you know, it's such a broader conversation because I've had this with some of my peers already. Like I speak to Barrie and some other people on it. Is like, you know, like delivery of the music, even on the radio and on the podcast and everything, is like the same way that we give love to the dancehall and the hip hop and the Afrobeat and everything. Soca has it as well too, and we could build the music, but you know, it's just about putting the same energy and effort and love into it. And so it has nothing to do with whether they are friends or not. You know,
I will go a step further. Like for me, the creative process of songs, like, you know, for example, lyrical, he would never put out a song unless he sent it to me first, or Wassi as well. Now, you know, we have built the relationship enough so that we could tell Lero, yeah, they ain't really cutting it. Yeah, that or change this or add that. Like I feel like, for me, I wouldn't let my friend put something that's subpar, or not up to the level as it should be, what I'm saying? And I think we all have a part to play in the quality of our music, right? And it's very important that everyone here, I have personally seen every person here bust tune already. You know what I mean? Like new thing, like somebody bashment think Puffy just bring out like new thing. I remember a Hyper Songs the year. First time I hear it. First time it didn't even come out yet. Puffy bust it. Big tune. You know what I mean? Same with Ryan. Ryan will put it on the mix. Same way. Cardo just take song before it even release. Get stems, create a remix. Right? Remix before the original
And
release.
make you feel
And
like that's
bust it.
the original.
Put two clap on it and bust it in the middle of the party like it plain. Without. So I've seen every one of everyone on this platform here, including myself, bust tune. You know what I'm saying? And I think, we represent for the culture as well. We try to make sure that we give our music that platform, man. And I commend you guys too. Big up to everybody on this platform because, when I want to bust my like right now, I show Big Z looking like, yo, play Big Mood Rhythm, So, all that busty tunes, you know what I mean? Puffy,
Yes.
this Saturday, bro.
I want
Cardo took Top Strike on his back, if people don't know, Cardo and Tony X put Top Strike on the back and ran, and no pun intended, ran with that song until people knew it, and that's a fact. And that's and look at what happened.
Like Stephen said, I've seen DJs here pick songs or six songs that they made a hit, not just because they were friends with them, it's because they genuinely liked it or loved the song. And going back to what Ryan was saying about Top Striker, that was like that year. I think that was like probably the second year or something that I went to Grenada, and I heard it, I connected with it, and to me, I feel if I go as a patron and it could move me when I turn into a DJ, I can make it move you. So that's our job as entertainers is to find what we can to move people. That's what we pay to do. But what I'm particularly happy for, right? I'm particularly happy for the DJs, particularly who on this panel and more. I see Cool Blazers in there. I'm particularly happy and excited to see the DJs actually producing and making songs because I think the DJ, as a DJ, you kind of know what moves the crowd too. You know what connects. You know what works. You know the formula. You have the formula as a DJ. So why not put that talent into producing music? And I'm real happy to see so many, like Ryan said, in this genre of soca music where we have to defend it, to see soca DJs actually producing music, taking it to that next level. I am excited about that. I'm excited about. I'm just hearing about Puffy's project here. I know about Steven's project. I know about Ryan's projects. You know what I mean? Like the Good Life rhythm, by the way, love it. But Puffy saying he coming up with all these rhythms, I'm looking forward to hearing that because he's a DJ like me and he know what works. So
Puffy's a monster, bro.
Yeah, so I look forward to that. Cool Blaze has been working on. I seen him there. Big up to Cool Blaze. He came out with some rhythm. He's been doing it for a long time, and he's now blooming into making good music. So I look forward to not only playing the music of my peers, but supporting them and using that tool to make people move as well.
Yeah, man.
I look forward to that.
Sure. And I think that, first I want to definitely shout out Cool Blaze. I also see DJ Shy from Toronto is in the chat. A brilliant DJ. So, I commend everyone that's doing their thing. But you kind of touched on this, Basics. What I was going to ask is, what do you think is the responsibility of a DJ? I know that Basics kind of touched a little bit on it, but does anyone else want to chime in on what you feel is the responsibility of a DJ?
Educate, entertain, are the two main things that I would say are the top of the list.
Yeah.
I would say, go ahead, Ryan. Finish. Sorry, I thought you were done. Yeah, I thought you were done.
Entertain, it is very easy for all of us in this spectrum here, and everybody in this chat is a headliner, which is the thing. To one of the main things is that we need to entertain. But going back to the previous question, it is important for us to inform and educate because we are the breakers and like the gatekeepers of music. So when we have a record that we believe in, we have the responsibility, and I say responsibility very strongly, to introduce the music to the people because sometimes we have the vision before people even hear it. Like for us,
Correct.
for example, in the carnival season in Trinidad or any country, we have nothing short of maybe 300 to 400 songs that we have to sell within 6 weeks. We need to sell the vision of these songs to you before you even believe it's a hit. And so like that's why I say that it's important that we educate and also entertain as well. So like if I had to say 2 words that's important, I mean there are others because I let everybody else stay their piece, but those are the 2 that I would think.
Okay, great.
I would say our jobs as DJs, in my opinion, is to make people's day better, man. Like make people feel, to take away stress, make them feel happy. If I were to get deep, what I enjoy most about DJing is how the reaction from people that I get. To see someone smile, to see someone scream out with their hands in the air, and that level of joy and happiness, which I believe soca music carries the most. It's happy music. That's my opinion, guys. But I think our job is to make people feel better. That's my opinion. Yeah, that's it. I done. Next. Sorry.
Okay,
And I keep it short.
I had a similar opinion to Steven too. Like, you're kind of like a therapist for people, man. And you could create an environment and put people in an environment or a mindset that they didn't even think they could have been. They weren't even in the frame of mind to enter, but they catch a vibe, they feel that energy from you, and then they're like, oh wow, like what is this? You put them in a whole different zone. So I enjoy doing that as well.
I think the job of a DJ not only happens on the stage. Like I've had a couple instances and situations that kind of moved me because I didn't really understand the power of what I was doing. Like when I started doing the lives, I started getting personal messages. There was 2 personal messages that particularly moved me and there was one particular person that practically came on for every single live. And after about the 4th or 5th one, she sent me a personal message and said, two of them actually. One was, my mother passed away and you helped me get through this, and that to me made it all. There was nothing mattered. There was nothing else that was more important to me than to hearing those words come from somebody that it mattered what you did for them. There was another girl that messaged me and said, I just wanted to really thank you. My mother recently passed away from cancer, and she loved you. She loved you, ever since. And now I love you. And I want to thank you for helping me through this. Those are the things as a DJ, man. Like when you hear that, what I mean? There's no money in the world you can give me that would take the place of somebody just walking up to you and telling you that.
Yeah, boy.
Something like that. It really it just makes me go back and say, now there goes my 25 plus years of this of doing this worth it. You know what I mean? It made it worth it. You know what I mean? That I can actually help someone through their toughest time. You know what I mean? Even though I'm going through a tough time, I would never bring that on stage because there were times I've been on stage and I've had my rough days like all of you guys, but you would never see it. I've learned as we all do. Never when you're on stage, it's showtime. That's it. You can go back to your problems after that. 45 minutes, hour and a half is done. When it's done, you can go back to that. But when you're on stage, your job is to entertain, make people happy, make people, like Puffy said, put people into the mood that they want to be in at that time. And that's your job as a DJ.
Yeah, just in summarizing that is like DJs are manipulators of time and space. We create alternate realities. That is it. As people think it's just about going on stage and playing or doing, just showing up and playing music, but it's not that. We have the ability to alter moods. We have the ability to.
Hence the reason for the name of your party, Soca Brainwash Boy.
Correct. It's creating a space that people feel, this euphoric, sort of sense of escape, that they can get away from their problems even temporarily. And you could be, and as extreme as it may sound, be the difference between, somebody being ultimately depressed and thinking that life means nothing to them, to raising their spirits to the fact where they feel that their life is worth living because they feel that joy. And there are instances of that where music literally saves lives. And we are one of the main, you've seen it in quarantine, the DJs have saved a lot of people.
Oh my God, you should. I should.
So just maybe, I had the privilege to put what everybody's saying here into words. Joyous feeling anticipated. This sweetness underestimated. Nothing in this world could come closer to the way I feel about Miss Soca. This is my connection. Birthright to all West Indians. What a revelation when you decide to function.
Big tune.
Yeah? So maybe one of my play the song now
Yo, it's time to bring back me too.
Let me just say this, and Private Ryan and Walshy are two people who could testify to this. I had one of the privileges, the greatest privileges in life, to be part of one of the most influential platforms to ever touch Caribbean music, and that was Mix 96.1 FM. I had a morning show. I had an evening show.
Yeah, boy.
I had everything you could think of. I sat on the phone with a woman for 3 years every morning and put her through school. She was a single mother of 3 children. And Private Ryan and Walshy and I had the privilege of being on a platform at Miami-Dade Community College. And they opened up the floor. You remember that, Ryan? Mm. They opened up the floor. Never saw that woman in my life. Please forgive me if I cry. Never saw that woman in my life. And they opened up the floor for questions. And the first thing she said, I don't have a question. I just want to say thank you. And as she said that, I remembered her voice. And that woman ran to me. And we hugged each other for 3 years. Somebody that I never knew. I never knew her. I didn't know what she looked like, nothing. But just that vibe that we had in the morning. I would talk to her. She was coming from her job to go home to change her kids, to send them to school, to go to another job. You understand? That's why I always tell all of my peers here could tell you that at some point I've told them we have a responsibility, as Wassi as they think I am, as crazy as some of them might think I am. I know and I understand my place and my responsibility, and I pray that my peers do as well. We have a great influence in people's lives. Mm-hmm. Use that for good. The problem in the world now, okay? Everything that happens in this world now is a derivative of hate. We need to replace that hate with love. All the racism, everything. I could go on and on and on. We need to replace that with love. You don't have to love me, you don't have to think that I'm the greatest, but find something, find someone and impart that on them. Somebody needs it. Okay?
Yeah, man.
So shifting from the music for a quick second to actually touch on what you just ended with, Giselle. This year was significant in bringing the movement of Black Lives Matter to the forefront. And we've heard a lot of people say things like, we're from the Caribbean, it doesn't matter, it doesn't affect us. Do you feel that because some of you reside in the Caribbean, it's not your fight and it's it's a fight for the outside of the Caribbean? What are your thoughts on that? Because there's a lot of conversations happening right now where people in the Caribbean are saying that this does not directly affect them.
Was that COVID?
No.
I missed that. Sorry.
You should go first because I know you get to answer the last one, but you could go.
No, for me, I really I took it to heart because a lot of my situations, especially touring internationally, I was the only Black person in the room. I'm the only Black 3-star world champion. And that's something that I don't share a lot, but it's a fact. I'm the first and only. So on that merit alone is just like, yo, what the hell is going on, dog? And it has been very frustrating for me, and it's been a really interesting thing because it's like, okay, I am here and I know I have this platform, but how do I use it in a way that feels fine to me? You know what I mean? Because I'm not the type of person that will go on cuss and say, oh, da, da, da. You know, I'm not the most conflicted person, or I don't really like confrontation directly. So it was a really interesting thing for me to say, okay, cool, well, I guess I could just take all this information and try to process it, summarize it, and share it, and support the people who are doing more than I'm doing. So I had a lot of friends that were really pushing, and I would just, pop in for a 15 and show, well, yo, I'm there, or donate a little something, or and I found my way of kind of doing it and in a way that was comfortable for me. And it took a while, but it's been a really interesting one, man, and I still feel the hurt, and going online, especially when everything had first hit, it was tough, yo. I didn't even want to be on social media, but I know I had a purpose, and I know I had to use my platform for something. So I had to kind of just figure it out after a while and stay true to myself and do things in the best way that I could.
Thank you so much for sharing that.
Social media became very toxic.
Yes. Yes.
I think like, this conversation could literally go on forever in terms of.
Yes, and so I said what I said, and I done there. Me ain't talking nothing about that because nobody wants to hear what I have to say. I trust
Well, Ryan, you can touch on it, and then we'll move along. But I think it's important for us to touch on it because
what do you want to know? What do you want me to touch on exactly? Like,
so what I was saying is that a lot of people are having conversations saying that this does not affect the Caribbean. This is affecting the world outside of the Caribbean. So what are your thoughts on that?
No, I think it's a worldwide issue. It's something that all of us, and especially Black people worldwide, they everyone would have felt, and you can see it, just based on the voices that you see raised. You see the news, you read what and I have friends who've gone through personal experiences that whether it be in college or just people who I have spoken to, and there are various injustices. You look at some of the business owners that have showed their colors in these times, which means that it's a real issue, which means it's a conversation that needs to happen, for there to be real progress and real healing. And we're not talking about symbolic victories, we're talking about real change. Real change doesn't happen overnight, and it takes like a holistic approach to really change a lot of the things that are wrong. And history could tell you that there was a lot of wrong done, and a lot of things haven't been corrected in terms of even trying to have the conversation of even making up for a lot of these things. In terms of like me personally, I have not really stared in the face of racism. Like I hear about it, but I haven't been in it, because even with me and how I deal with people, even how I deal with my event and the number of different places and different people that I play for, like I'm very accepting. I was raised in a family that accepts different races, different cultures. Trinidad is a melting pot. So like the idea of racism is just so foreign to me, because Black, white, Indian, old, young, everybody, like I think we could, and I think even in terms of like all of us in the soca industry, like it is such the opposite of what we do, like soca and carnival, and that's not the spirit that we come at with what we do. So but even acknowledging that, we understand that soca is not the entire world. They have real problems that need to be addressed, and so we need to stand on the right side of history and really address these things, and we need to all play our part. And some may not be necessarily social media, because some people are just go on social media, but social media isn't the solution. Social media, that's a whole other, social media isn't real. People need to understand that social media is what people want to be painted on social media, and that doesn't necessarily represent, the truth.
100% of what it is. Yeah.
And can I add something for all of us here? One of the things that Ryan said, yes, we all here are very tolerant and very accepting, but I want to just be very real with everybody. Because of who we are and the roles we play in society, we also very well accepted. Okay? I've been in situations, I'm a band leader in Miami Carnival. This year will be 33 years on the road for me if we actually had a carnival, right? And I'll tell you about an experience of mine. I ain't gonna call nobody names, but in 1995, right? We had to switch the carnival from where it was, I want to say downtown Miami, to Miami-Dade College. And one of the band leaders, please God, just take this for what it is, stood up and said, my people will not want to go to Miami-Dade Community College. That was where the carnival was in that year in 1995. He said, my people. I stood up and I said, what do you mean by your people? And you know what he said to me? He said, I'm not talking about people like you, Wassi. You get that? Did that fly over everybody's head, or did you get that?
Not at all.
I got it. We got it.
So my point is that as much as we may be accepting because of who we are and the privilege that we have to entertain people, we are also accepted. Doesn't mean that we are exempt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I could talk.
Just from my own personal experience, I mean, I can say that within every community, understand that in society you have some divide. Racism, meaning black and white, is the divide in America. Sometimes in the Caribbean, it's socioeconomic. You understand what I'm saying? There's a divide everywhere. Every man has a something that does squeeze their foot. Everybody have a boots that does squeeze their corn. You have to deal with it accordingly. But at the end of the day, to make the world go round, we have to be empathetic. You know?
I think what it is as well, my opinion, Kerra, to based on what you're asking is I think I agree with everybody that it's a worldwide issue. I don't see no difference in the Caribbean. I think, awareness is something that sometimes we don't really take seriously, but sometimes, we're not aware of what's happening, in our space, in our immediate circle. Sometimes, sometimes we're actually experiencing racism, but we're not aware that it's racism, because it just goes over our head sometimes, but we're not expecting it. You know what I mean? I've been in situations sometimes, even on flights where, I might be going to sit first class and the guy looking at me like, who's that?
100%.
Are you in the right seat? You see what I'm saying? And looking at the hostess as if, move him, or I can't put my bag up there because he's putting his bag next to mine. You know what I mean? Now, I never played into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think what's happening now is people are now waking up. They're now standing up for it. They're not letting that slide anymore. Because to be honest with you, I wouldn't really let it slide if I were, if I were really trying to make a point to say to him, listen, I'm equal to you. You understand? You the same amount of money you spent for your seat, I might have spent for mine, even though mine might have been a buddy pass. But still, I paid something for that, or I know somebody who paid or worked hard for that seat. You know what I mean? But that doesn't say that I don't deserve to sit next to you. So I think we're in a time now where people are now waking up, and we're living through history. It's a great time to be alive. It's a hard time to be alive too, but I wouldn't change it for the world. It's a great time to be alive. We're living through history right now.
Amen.
I would say this to end. I'm not encouraging anyone to do anything they don't want to do, but stand for something or fall for nothing. Yeah.
Amen. So I'm gonna just switch back over to the music side of things. As prominent, I asked this question to the first panel, so I'm interested, and I'm sure everybody wants to know your thoughts on this as well. As prominent DJs in the business, would you? I guess, this actually, most of you guys are producing music right now. So the question really was, would you encourage artists right now to be pushing out music because of the fact that they're not performing, they're not going on tour? There's a lot of artists that are, choosing not to release music. So what are your thoughts? Stephen, you're producing music. Ryan, I know you're in the works. So I guess those are kind of some of the answers there. But for Wassi and Back to Basics, what do you guys think about that?
About what artists putting out music now?
Yeah, even though there's no carnivals, we have no idea when they're going on tour, no events and so forth.
I believe that that there should be artists still bringing out music. I think I did listen to the last panel, and I think Walshy hit the nail on the head when he said it's about making music for the mood or for the time, you know. So why not? Why, just because you cannot make, and we're talking soca here, right? I'm assuming, right?
Yep.
Why not? Because you cannot make music that's targeted for carnival. Why can you not make music that's for the mood? Why can you not make music that would inspire, that would change the mood of the person? The same thing we're doing as DJs. Why can't an artist put out music to do the same thing? I think it should continue. That's what I think. And I think I don't think that there should be few excuses for artists to produce music too. It's not like back in the days. I know artists who are walking around with studios in their backpack and making music.
Mm-hmm.
So there were some songs, there were some hit songs that was made in the cabins of Humboldt Soca Cruise, in the cabin, right? So why can't artists continue to make music for the mood? You know what I mean?
I want to add something here which will give perspective. So I totally agree with what you're saying. Like I think everyone here, especially on the producer end, with Puffy, Steve, because you've heard the stuff that Puffy and Steven have been putting out with Vaughn, and Vaughn is somebody who's like that. I think people are part to blame for why this is not happening. Right now, imagine like you can have content like, let's say, let me use an example of this carnival itself. Honest Dollar by Voice versus their promoter. Which one is the one that got more prominence? Now, Honest Dollar spoke on content of them. They have room for all away and all these things versus their promoter, which is a festival song. But the people came and they jumped up and they'll purchase their promoter over they will purchase Honest Dollar. Now, we're in this situation now where the soca artists are in a predicament. They're in a catch-22 basically, because they are now faced with the looming reality that they have no foreseeable income to come in. Songs cost money, so they need to make a choice on the type of content that they need to make. So when now they have no carnivals to not tour, there's no tour, there's no party to come to that they can't go on stage and sell a song. They now, would be in a situation where they should make new content, which, can speak to the mood. But then now the conversation is with the producers is like, okay, so then what's the arrangement? Because now you can't pay me for the song, and how are we going to make this work? So this whole thing has now, yes, it has forced creativity, but now the business model now behind it has to kind of now adapt to what's going on. So it's kind of a situation where the industry kind of got stuck in a way, but it's going to be the rise of something new. Because, for example, now you see somebody like myself or like Puffy who is now producing music and we're making music that we like and we want to put out. And so that is now going to be, and that is where, especially now, look at the Trinidad movement, when it came to Swanee, and they were making the music that they liked, and then now it was the rise of a whole other thing. So like there's so many conversations here.
Let me add to that too, right? Yeah. It's something that Ryan, you and I had this discussion as well too. Mm-hmm. Soca music, and it's something I heard Skinny say again the other day, because we talked about it too, in the fight to release his song on the Big Mood Rhythm. Soca music is when people write soca songs. Soca is a reality. Hip hop and these other things are fantasy. When you listen to the lyrics of a soca song, you know what I mean? You hearing jam, wine, hand in the air, get drunk, have a good time. These are all things that anybody could live at any given time, any day with soca music. But when you listen to like hip hop and these things with drive a Ferrari, pull up in my mansion and these kind of things, it's fantasy music now. And then now on the flip side of that too, you have where we're not an official genre. Why? Here's the catch-22. They say, okay, streams. Well, we are getting the streams. It's just we're getting the streams on the reggae music. You know what I mean? So how do we now create that that point to where people understand what is soca. How do we define it? How do we identify our music? You understand? So that we can now have our own category, so that people can say, all right, I'm going to stream and support soca. Even though they're doing it now, yeah? How do we identify it and separate that music so people can say, okay, we're supporting soca music, right? We get 1 million streams. Marshall Montano get millions of streams and he makes money. Bunji Garlin gets millions of streams and he makes money. The rest of the artists, unfortunately, they suffer it. You know what I mean? There's a business side of it too that, you know, needs a lot of education, you know, to help that industry level raise a bit. It's so much, you know, I kind of pride myself on learning new things and getting deeper into it so that we can all raise the front of the industry. Because soca is a developing industry. It's not an industry. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's just crazy. Like, and then look, Andrew just said something here in the chat. Body of work. You know, everyone for Carnival, everyone is releasing a song for Carnival. This for Carnival, this for Carnival. Nobody's putting together a body of work.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? It's so much different when you can hear a body of work, and so you want to support that more than just a one song or one tune. To me, you know what I mean?
But Stephen, it comes down to what we were talking about, like as in like the consumers of the Carnival product also need to put the same energy that they will, like pop stars, the #1 Drake song in the world now. But did they buy their favorite soca artist song? You know, like that's my point. Like they need to put the same energy into their own culture, because then now it's not balancing off, and it's not. And for us, it's about passion. But remember that at the end of the day, like a lot of these artists and stuff, you know, it comes down to business as well for them as well, which is why I guess a lot of them got stuck at this point. Like they're just not, you know.
But then too, Ryan. All right, devil's advocate, right? Devil's advocate, because I agree with you there. So, for example, look, Pop Star is the #1 song in the world right now. But look at that, the marketing and the promotional energy put into that song by Khaled and Drake. That's all they posted about for days. So can you get maybe a day before, a man put out to a little teaser video, 2 days after he posted, that is it. If it don't take off, he's not pushing it no more, man. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we're trying to change. Like even me and Z with this big mood rhythm, you know, you can see the difference. You know what I mean? We're trying to push them levels too, to try, you know, to push the boundaries a bit and try to open some more doors and show a different way too. You know what I mean? Like we can follow the format that hip hop is using, you know, easy. You know what I'm saying? But it takes effort. It takes consistency. You know what I mean? And I feel like, you know, because soca artists depend on the show so much to get paid, that they're not even studying what they could potentially make with the streams.
Yeah.
You know?
So, Kerra, did you honestly feel that this panel was going to be 1 hour?
So I just want to put it out there. My first session was an hour.
You honestly felt that this panel was going to be just 1 hour?
To be honest with you, I think that my subconscious said, let me put these guys second, because this is going to go longer than an hour. So that's probably what happened.
Unmute your mic. Unmute your mic.
Is she who mute me because I clean my chicken? I tell her
let me back and I'll start again. Let me back and I'll start.
But I will say this, and one of the major reasons, and I'm going to go back again because I know him personally and I could tell all of that. One of the reasons why Khaled will always be successful is because Khaled believes in himself like nobody else does. The first man to ever rap a car in South Florida was DJ Khaled. When DJ Khaled was on the radio, I'm the original Don. From day one, when he was nobody with his little braces on each and every separated tooth, that boy believed in himself. You have to believe in yourself and your product. Otherwise, nobody else will believe. He first said, all I do is win, win, win. Because he believed that I ain't asking you, telling all you. Believe, and we will achieve.
Khaled will
get me again because I went back to clean my chicken.
The biggest Jamaican DJs and believe in himself. And if people don't know if people think Khaled no come
on.
God, Khaled. Oh my God. Come down. Khaled don't come.
Come on.
Yeah.
But that is the key. Let me tell y'all something. You know why I can carry soca? Because when I'm down, when I'm up, when I'm in my car, when I'm in my house, and everybody here has been to my home, they know that I play soca 24/7, 365. I am Team Soca. I don't just believe in it, I love it. My friends, my personal friends, people who sleep here, who are the speed and thing, I'm in awe of them. Because I think they are so amazing. You know who I think is the greatest artist in the world? Edwin Yearwood is one of them. He's not. That's my Beyonce. That's my Jay-Z. The only person in another genre of music that I love like that is Whitney Houston. I'm telling all of that.
Yeah,
You can't.
and is a treasure to Suka. That's a fact.
Yeah, man. For sure.
I'm a Edwin Yearwood fan. Like I
like big no, that's
their
real talk.
actor.
That's not no. I grew up. My godparents are Baron and Super. I come from greatness. I know what this is. I live this. I feel this. Part of me from the heart of me. Play my song on here.
Clean your chicken. Just
Bottom line is, you cannot do what you love unless you love what you do. That's
truly.
That's the fact here.
Dope. So dope. That's so fact, man. That's a big fact. I could put on a wall or something, but you can't do what you love unless you love what you do. Gotta hit it, dropping gems in, man.
I come to Stevie, you just buff me for that all the time. G, you supposed to have more followers. You need to be more interactive. You need to be. Look how many people is for me and I don't do nothing. It's because I love all this love. I genuinely have. I'm, according to one of my friends, I'm organic.
Yes,
Yeah.
you are.
Facts. So imagine if you used to post plenty. Boy.
Yeah, you understand? All right then.
That's my next drop here. I'm telling you no. That's my next drop.
You know something here.
Barrie.
I'm gonna say this because I have the opportunity. In this panel, I'm a fan of everybody on this panel here. Like I as a DJ coming up, I idolize Back to Basics so much. Carter, you know this. Carter see me from nothing. Wassi, you see me too when I came by the truck and said, I want you to be my sister. You know what I mean? Like I actually look up to the people here on this panel, and to be here, you know, in the company of you guys on this panel is a true pleasure to me. You know, and I appreciate all of you, man, and to call you guys friends and to be able to hit you guys up on projects and work is so exciting, man. You know, and I'm excited for things to open back up, because I feel like we're all coming out of this different people, and I think as much as we're far away and we haven't seen each other, I think that next time we get to all reunite is gonna be a true vibe, yo. You know what I mean? Yeah, I feel like I just feel it, you know. Like,
yes.
It's been crazy,
you
man.
know what was amazing about it? You know what's interesting is that we got put together. Well, except you, Steve, and except that one time I probably saw you, but we got put together for Carnival in Trinidad. Like the whole industry was here with few exceptions, and then COVID happened, and now we are all like isolated.
But remember, we see it too, right? We was big out of the day.
and that's the thing, like, you know, now everybody is just going through their own journeys, their own struggles as well, because not everybody is having, you know, the best time, but they're now trying to figure out life. And it'll be interesting to see how we all come out of this on the other end, and it'll be exciting because I'm excited to see everybody's evolution, because I know people have been putting in work in different ways. So like whether it be production wise, as an individual, as a DJ, like to hear the new transitions and to hear the new tricks and like, whoa, okay. It's interesting because everybody's gonna be in this space, and that'll be very exciting, and it really is something that probably was needed to take it forward, because you know now is going to be the era of like I tell people is like, for me, like the Private Ryan of the pre-COVID and the Private Ryan post-COVID is two different things now. Like it's going to be the same with everybody. I know that. Yeah.
I private jabba now, you know. Private jabba.
You know, so it's interesting, and I'm really, really excited to see everybody.
I agree with Ryan. Like to see the involvement of different people. I mean, Ryan, you were like one of the, you know, all the way friends and thing. I mean, like watching you evolve from the early stages of your lives, and then actually breaking out of your shell and giving argument and stuff. It was exciting for me.
You guys are the same. What is going on here? Carlo, that's you too, though, Carlo. Y'all are just the same.
Yeah, but I mean, everybody know if I need to talk, I would do it. Ryan, do not talk.
I think what I really like is the after talk, the after party. You know, when he sit down and plug out, and Ryan is sitting on the couch, and you know, I like the eyes come for the after bacchanal, the after shot.
After hours.
Vibe, man.
Eyes come for that period.
Crazy.
So I have a question. All of you guys have, you know, at some point played with each other in the same event? Played at the same event. Pull it back. Let me pull it back.
We
Easy, Kerra. Easy.
I'm sorry.
Nobody would have caught it. So most of you guys have played on the same sets at events and so forth, right? So all of you guys are friends. When you guys go to a dance, so let's say, you know, Ryan, Puffy, you guys are all at an event and you guys all have to play. Mentally, before you start playing, like, do you see Ryan? Are you looking at Puffy like, yo, that guy's my competition? Like, I got to get into this frame of mind of like, nah, I got to go on that sit and kill it and go above and beyond. Like, what's the mentality for you guys? That's the first part of it. And how important is it for you to arrive before your set so that you can hear the other person play?
So I have a good answer for that. I have a good answer for that to start. I first of all, as a DJ, your job, just because you have to play, for example, from 12 to 1, doesn't mean your job starts at 12, right? Your job starts when you're actually home getting ready. Like, I'm already thinking ahead of what I may have to do based on what I think the event is or whatever. When I get there, it's a question of absorbing what's going on, who's playing what, checking your equipment, doing all these things. It's a job. Just because you see us walking around Lyman or maybe buying a drink or something doesn't mean we're not doing things mentally to prepare, right? And of course, you have to have a certain level of competitiveness. You're not clashing with your peers. These are my peers, but I also know I have an idea of how each of one of us plays, as well as they know how I play. So most of the times, as a group effort, it always works out when you're comfortable playing with people you're accustomed playing with, right? And so you kind of try to figure out, okay, you see what else is playing, and then you're preparing yourself mentally. You know, usually a half an hour before my set, you can't really talk to me, and that's a normal thing. You know what I mean?
I think you don't make out. I mean,
yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead. You could add to it. That's fine.
I think at this level here, with this group, I could tell you, there's a level of respect and understanding where it'll be a pass the battle.
Yeah.
Everyone here in this group, I could guarantee you would know their role. So if you were to ask who starts in here, I'm pretty sure we would know who starts in to who finishing or who's the last two to finish.
Correct.
I'm pretty sure. So we're all capable of doing each role.
Correct.
Each of us will be very comfortable taking that role and knowing what to do.
Correct.
And knowing not to spoil the event. You know, we're at that level of
100%.
professionalism.
Correct.
Where, you know what I'm saying? And I for me, as I said, I'm a fan of all of these people here. So I know their strengths and weaknesses too. You see what I'm saying? Not saying you guys have weaknesses, but I know where their strengths are. So I know for a fact, all right, boom. I could probably do a mad Bijan Bashman setting up. But Puffy is coming after me. I gonna save that because he gonna show me some new tricks on that shit. He gonna smash it. Or, you know what I'm saying? Like Wassi. Wassi would play and she would throw the alley-oop to me right after. Same way. You know what I'm saying? So
let me show you how. Let me tell all you things. I bet one of the wickedest DJs in the world. My DJ know how to fit in any session. If they want me to be foreplay, if they want me to be full intercourse, whatever they need after, we could do it. You have to know
big
your
up wives, big up wives.
I remember a time I was doing an early warm, right? And Cardo come up to me and say, I don't know if I can do what you do there just now. It had about 4 people there. If you hear Wassi, like it had 1 million people there.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, everybody has their role. And one of the things that I'm blessed with, and like I told you, just like I stay money, I know my role. If Ryan say, Wassi, I need you to warm up. It had 5 people there going and warm that up. Them 5 people going and be super hot by the time I pass them to see with Puffy or back to basics. If they tell me, you know what, we need you to take them home, I could do that too. We need you to keep them, whatever you want. Okay, sorry.
Nobody here is I think everybody here understands what playing for the sake of the party is, and nobody is selfish. You know what I mean? It is not about Puffy mashup, Private Ryan mashup, Steve back to basics mashup.
Correct.
It's about
them people had a good time
and I had a blast.
Yeah.
You understand? It's not about, oh, when I think I want to have the best set.
No.
Mhm.
Everybody, it's I want to make
But
sure
look at
these
Cardo now,
thousands
we
of
don't
people
even
in front
play
of me
inside.
have
The
the
most
best
me white you
time.
come and say hi to everybody, does it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to make sure these people have the best time.
Yeah.
And
That's the
having
goal.
the best time necessarily isn't hearing Ruction at 8 o'clock. You understand? Regardless of whether it's Puffy, back to basic, anybody playing. Yes, we are all headliners here, but hearing Ruction at 1:32 is way better than hearing it at 8.
Big up DJ Turner vibes, you don't know.
There's the truth, and I could say that like even from on the other side of it. I mean, as a DJ, you know, it's actually exciting to play alongside your peers because it all keeps you on your toes, and you know how. So like for me now, how I would play is that if I know, let's say Basics, Antonia next, or Steven, there are things I would deliberately leave out my set. If Puffy's next, I'm gonna do no Bayesian stuff like that. And not to say he only does that, but like there's certain things I may even leave out the hip hop set in a sense so that all right, Puffy gonna come and do that. You know, I will stay here. Right, I know Steven could come. Steven has lived in LA, Atlanta, but I seen Steven all over the place. But like Steven could play so many different things, and like you could just, you know, I could leave it on like, you know, I see them even on Uber. When
I would not dare play a VI song if you coming
like,
after.
so like I would leave.
Yeah, not.
Because Steven Dale,
Lane.
And then now on the other side as an event producer as well too. Soca Brainwash, I could tell you that when I put together the lineup and I try to change it all the time, like the hardest part is actually structuring when everybody plays, because everybody's a headliner. There's nobody that is unimportant. From the first DJ that plays the very first song when people go in to when I have to come on at the end, there's nobody who's unimportant, and everyone has played different roles in this chat. I like you know,
say
like,
it again for your DJs to hear, buddy. Say it again for your DJs to hear.
Yeah, exactly. So like
Second
everybody
stage,
has
give me all day.
play early, everyone has to play late, a stage 2 or thing, whatever.
I go take you stage 2 all day. Give me stage 2. That's my stage.
Well, I will. Basics claims you want stage 2 in Trinidad, you know, but you know,
we gonna make it on a stage one day. I don't know which one, but we gonna make it.
You was on stage. You was on stage in Miami, but remember, that was the time you all got stuck in the Juve. Remember that?
Yes,
you see.
That's what they do to me though, Kerra. They always try to put me in Miami when they know that I can't do nothing. It's all good though. They wicked.
No, but is it truth? Like everybody here has the, you know, there's no competition. It's like,
no.
You know, if you know, and Giselle and Basics, I know as well, have the same mentality when it is to come into the Rise and Shine. Like they put that together because they know how everybody could play into each other's strengths. And there's so many other DJs that you could call in this conversation, whether it be from Saeed, Jester, Barrie. All these guys are team players in terms of making sure the event goes the way it's supposed to musically, and nobody's trying to outdo each other. We just have fun. You know, people always try to have these fake memories, but like it's none. Like we just we're all peers, you know.
It's like I couldn't have a better setup of guys around me to play with, because like Ryan said, make it fun. And I've had situations where, or we have all been in situations where we have had an issue, and I don't ever recall standing there and letting a man fall apart on stage. I will jump up on the stage and fall with him. You understand? I remember, and for example, to flip it around, I was doing Ryan's Brainwash in New York, right? And literally, I was such in a zone, shaking that stage, that my hard drive popped right out of the thing. No music. How much? 4,000 or 5,000 people. And every single DJ ran up on the stage, who grabbed a mic while everybody singing while I could get my drive back on. And nobody knew that something happened. Bandit ran on the stage. Bandit came to help me. Ryan came up stage. Just one. You know, everybody just participated. Yeah. Everybody just stood back to just see me fall. You understand? And that's why we as professionals will always prevail and always benefit for the people, because we as a team are all team players, and we're all professionals, and we all look out for each other too. You know what I mean?
That's something that I feel like, we don't show it publicly enough or say it publicly enough because it's an unspoken thing amongst us. And I think if listen to how we're speaking about each other here, fellas. Just listen to what we're saying about each other here. And this is, I could tell you that the things I heard here tonight from you guys, I know it to be true because I feel it. You know what I'm saying? Like nothing here is like pretend. Imagine if we were to carry that type of vibe over into everyday life. You know what I mean? Show people that kind of living. I feel like more this is what the world needs. Sorry to get on that kind of vibe, but the world needs more this kind of vibe.
Everybody here, I have a personal relationship with. It's different. It's not even like I say. I tell you all the time. They tell me being Wassi is the least of me. You understand? I have a personal. I mean, I could safely sit here and say, each of these people at some point has seen me in my most vulnerable moment, and vice versa. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
I've been blessed to be a part of people's career when they didn't know how great they were.
Yeah.
I could safely say that about Stevie, Ryan, and Cardo for sure. I could put my head on a block for that. Puffy come in late, but I like his accent and I just talk like.
Don't do me that. Don't do me that.
But he is also one of my babies. Like I embrace everybody who loves and appreciates what I love and appreciate will always. I tell people that since my child was born, even if me and Stevie stop talking, if Stevie loved Greg, I leave in Stevie to love Greg, and that's what we have to understand. Sometimes we may not always get along, but we have to respect each other and what we do and what role we play in the whole thing. I may not like your road, but I have to definitely respect your journey. You know what I mean? And that's the key to it here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So sorry to cut you, Stephen, but if each of you had the opportunity, so let's say the whole world is logged on right now, like, the gazillion people that are worldwide, or they're going to watch this after. What's a message that each of you would leave for them? So let's start with G. Let's go. Because I see people in the chat like, I want to hear Wassi. I want to hear Wassi.
Jesus Christ, you think it's a talk show, though?
Somebody actually said Giselle on talk show. Let me produce it for you. I got you, sis.
Let's do it. But for me, I listened before. So if I had to pick the 3 words for me.
No, not the words. We scrapped that. They threw me
what,
under
my legacy? What you want to know?
No, the whole world is logged into this YouTube video right now, this live. So what message would you want to tell the world?
Love is the answer. Be true to yourself. Love first and everything else will fall into the place. That's what my mommy told me and that's how I live.
Okay. Puffy.
For me, that's an interesting one. And I will say this, never be afraid to check yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Never be afraid to check yourself. And do it often.
Yes.
Because sometimes, you get so caught up in
yourself.
And in what you are doing that you might not see that it might not be the best thing for yourself. So always try to have a periodic thing or have a reminder, whether it's like a bracelet or a chain or something, that when you see that, this is my reminder to say, okay, am I present? Is what I'm doing great? Is it good for me? What are the consequences of this? Am I going to like the consequences? And I could go on and on that, but that's it. That's mine. Never be afraid to check yourself and do it.
Great advice. I am actually going to get a piece that reminds me of that, actually. Thank you so much for that, Puffy.
Yeah, that's dope, bro.
Yes.
Puffy.
Stephen, what about you?
I give advice to the world, boy. I would say for every human being, just to try to pay attention. Pay attention to your surroundings, pay attention to yourself, pay attention to your feelings, pay attention to everything. Just pay attention because, sometimes the signs we're looking for is right in front of us. Sometimes the feeling that we really want to get or we feel like we want to get, we're already getting it. You know what I'm saying? So, I feel like being awoke is the greatest thing, Sometimes you're going so fast that you don't even think that you're not even feeling. You want to achieve so much, and you're going so fast that you're not realizing that you've already achieved it because you're not awoke. You know what I mean? You're not paying attention to it. You know what I'm saying? So like slowing down for me did that. You know what I mean? For sure. Like I've gotten to realize like, yo, you running so fast. Like, dude, look at what you've achieved already. You know what I'm saying? And it just stay awoke, man, and pay attention. That would be my advice to the world. Pay attention.
That definitely
And love.
resonates with me.
Yeah,
Yes.
and love.
Ryan, Alexander.
Without sounding cliche, love each other. That's an important thing. Love your friends, love your family, love the moments, cherish them. One of the things that stay humble, which is another thing. Follow your passion and stay humble. So follow your passion, work, towards what you really love and really embrace it because that's where the real treasure in life is. But also understand that everything you work for can be taken away from you in an instant. People don't wake up in the morning knowing that they're going to die. It just happens. Understanding that is what should keep you humble, but it should also be the thing that makes you appreciate life that much more and the moment. So savor them, make sure that you really pay attention to the people around you and protect your energy as well. That's one thing I would tell you, protect your energy. That's a really important thing. And appreciate the journey of life because you just really don't know when it's going to be taken away from you. We're not in control of that. So yeah, put God first and everything else would fall in line,
Nice.
Yeah, respect.
Back to basics.
It's I guess hearing everybody is just adding to it. Really, it's like I think this journey that we're going through now and in the future is stages in our life and different stages in our life. This stage of our life is definitely a stage in our life that none of us thought would have happened in our lifetime, right? And I think on different levels, I don't think any of us was prepared for anything like this. I would say whenever, if or whenever, and I'm leaning on more whenever we get back to any state of normalcy, remember this to keep you in check. You know what I mean? Remember this to be better prepared for anything that comes our way again. Don't take for granted, today, because like Ryan said, tomorrow is not promised, So I would say to everybody, just do not forget what is happening to you. Everyone has the different levels of how this is affecting them. And I say, do not forget. When things get back to normal, we tend to forget. We tend to get busy and we tend to move on our normal lives and think everything is okay, And anything like this or worse can come back, if we get to any stage of normalcy. I'm just saying, do not forget. Humility is very important in your life. Being humble. I believe in that. I believe in, like Giselle said, be yourself. You have a passion and a love for something, do it, and do it 100. Don't do it half-assed. Do it 100. And that's it. I can go on and on. It's just this has been a great experience for me too. And
yes, for me too.
I'm still experiencing it, and we all are. You know what I mean? And I'll go back to something that Walshy said in the last panel, that we really have no control of where time is going to take us, right? All we have to do is prepare ourselves better this time, prepare ourselves better this time. Tomorrow is definitely not promised. And love each other. Love is definitely, love is a big, love hits different this wrongs,
Feel the love. That's what we're talking about, boy.
Yeah. No pun intended, but to feel,
big tune, Ryan. Big tune.
Feel the love. Yeah, we gotta feel the love better, man. Like I can't wait to be able to see my peers, my friends, and to see people that I'm not, or my fans, or even even people that I may have had a disagreement with, I don't mind giving them a hug this time because you never know. You never know. You know, you never know.
Yeah, man.
You never know,
It's true,
man.
man.
See, y'all
This
be
this
mad when
time.
I'm hugging and kissing all the time. I bet all them miss hugging and kissing me now.
No, I endorse
Yeah, Giselle.
every
Yeah.
single message that you guys have said. And, obviously the theme of this conversation, is love and gratitude. And for me, I think that I would want to leave the world with knowing, like, gratitude in everything. Be grateful in every stage of your life. The good, the bad, the ugly, because in everything there's a lesson, and God is always in control. So you need to be grateful for everything that's happening. And I honestly, God is the boss, and I'm truly grateful to everyone that joined me. Even though everyone is home technically, I know that everybody's going through their own things. Some people are using the time to disconnect. Some people are, cooking and having Wassi Wednesday. Some people are farming, and redoing their gardens and, all this other stuff. But I truly, truly, truly appreciate all of you guys, are my personal friends. So I'm very grateful that you guys were able to come on today and share with me and share with everyone that was watching. This is actually my 16th episode since the pandemic has happened. Yep, every week I've had a plugged in episode. So I'm celebrating my 4 months in of plugged in. But I want you guys to know, thank you. I want you guys to know that I'm very appreciative of you guys. I love you guys, and continue doing what you're doing. You guys are ambassadors of the culture. I'm proud of everything that you guys have done. Same thing with Barrie, DJ Anna, Spice, Jester, Walshy, who was on earlier. Thank you to them for being on here. I saw that DJ Close Connections is in the chat group, as well as Kevin Crown. Shout out everybody. I see Baseline from Enforces is in here. So shout out everyone that's just continuing to push the culture, push the music, and just do great things. I don't want to be the one today to get emotional, but I'm truly grateful that you guys came on here to support me for this.
I want to say one thing to you, Kerra. Like, a lot of people did many things on social media to entertain people or to inform people. You were one of the few platforms that gave us the opportunity to show people another side of us, like the side that people don't know. And and Kerra, I've known you for years. This is your calling, This is what you're built to do this. And I want to say thank you for inviting me and being a part of this, because you're one of the few people that actually created that platform for us to be ourselves. That somebody actually said in the chat that we actually have a full name, we have a government, we actually have a first and last name. You know what I mean? So I'm glad to be here to show that side of me that people might not get the opportunity to actually know. So thank you, Kerra. Thank you, Kerra, for that. I'll give you flame.
Lighter.
Later.
Yeah, man. Puffy, how you get your thing the song so clear, boy?
Microphone and Apollo, my G.
Oh, that was going on there.
That the Red Bull champion.
You gotta make me look bad and come with a microphone.
I know.
You could have
the damn thing. You're making me look bad.
I've done a few of these, man. So
Yes, you're ready, you're prepared, plaque in the bag, Barbados flag in the bag.
Daddy, have to represent the
Man
team.
song in the studio.
Yo,
Everybody
next one,
me look
Man
bad.
looking like a Caribbean Howard Stern there,
Jeez, watch your back and I'll start back though.
I tell you,
is about to
I
record
tell
out.
And
for a minute there, I told I was green
Andrew Denny, Andrew Denny
Yeah.
believe in that, boy. Like he's saying, my stuff.
Okay,
Yeah, man.
we're winding down. Okay, don't start back up the excitement, because people will literally stay in here for the next 2 hours.
Yeah, but it's us though. That's our vibe.
I know, exactly.
Just like a group chat now.
It literally is a group chat now, and like, I'm loving the comments. A lot of people saying that they've never seen this side of you guys, like Prado has said, and the love that you guys share for each other. People don't get to see, unless they come on like a Uber Soca cruise. People don't necessarily get to see
if that's true, Kerra, you should actually think about how to do this when things open back up, right? If people were to actually see how we act and the stuff we talk about behind a stage.
Yeah.
That could be worth
Or
some
how
money.
I just
Real
hold
talk.
their faces
Yeah.
and kiss them, you know. It's not I just hold these 4 people here, just hold
Nah,
their face and kiss them.
we-
It was and love them.
You just hope me and
But
Kim.
you
It
want
was and
people
love
to know
them.
what we's actually saying.
Yeah. I just said, Ryan, listen, we can kind of dumb it down a bit, but
No. We want Ryan like that. We want the Ryan, that Ryan.
People
They
have
need that
voted. They
Ryan.
want quarantine, Ryan. They know
I
they
want-
want the
Oh my
quarantine.
god.
I want private Jabba boy. Private Jabba. That's what I want.
Ryan, it's a wrap. It's a wrap.
It's a wrap, bro.
We need to
But
have,
yo-
we definitely need to have a documentary behind the scenes. I'm gonna put it
Yeah,
together.
man. Let's do it.
Well,
Right.
no, you know, I've been saying that for the longest, and Stevie and Cado and them could testify that we need to have a retreat. A
Yeah.
retreat
Yeah,
like
man.
how I
That's a
went to
great
Catholic
idea.
school, okay? When we went to Catholic school, you had a retreat where you wrote down your feelings and all that. We need a soca retreat, boy. I'm telling you.
Well, boy,
I think we should do it in
I thought that
Barbados.
was what we did on Uber, but apparently
Nah, Uber is a bit too intense. I feel like we need
Yeah,
something
yeah,
a little less
There's too
with
much
just
going, too
us
many
two.
distractions. We need to be like alone together. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
I am completely distracted on Uber. I'm sorry.
yes, like when
mean-
I went in the 11th grade and it was just my 11th grade class. Like, y'all need to do that.
not
We
right
need to do
there.
that.
No, but we have to shout out Uber Soca Cruise. Uber Soca Cruise has given us a platform for all of us to come together, you know, and showcase our talents and so forth, and you know, be a team together. So shout out Uber Soca Cruise. We're not sure what the world, you know, what's happening and what the future holds, but
Yeah,
you
man.
know,
Big up Uber.
yeah, big up Uber for sure. But I agree.
man.
We need to look into a retreat where you know, we have like a full-on beach day together and a relaxed day and a writing day.
A weekend of things where we could do, you know, the
Like,
relaxed.
wellness
We
together.
could also do the productive. We could do
Barbados
the, you know.
arms to all of you. So we welcome,
Yeah,
we
but
welcome
you
you.
got too many things
Give me to
going on.
Barbados.
I want to
in
take
Barbados.
one
Let's
at
do
a place
Barbados,
where
man.
you don't know
I'm with it.
nobody. I got the place. Let me, I got it.
I know you love Barbados, Wassi. So you know we welcome you with open arms. That's okay.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Hey, shout out the Ibiza Soca
Listen.
family. You know, we hoping and praying that October we able to still happen. Because the Ibiza Soca team, you know what I mean? We're hoping and praying that.
So we have
Boy,
Artiste,
Steve,
we have
boy.
Uber Soca, we have some things.
We're hoping and praying. We're hoping and praying, bro. Hoping and praying,
Candles
bro.
in your house, you know, boy. I hope
Bro.
so.
Sage and candles, man.
It's official. The Soca Howard Stern will be appearing soon.
Yes.
Go
Puffy,
do the man
I
that.
ain't want
Why
nothing,
all
you
they
know.
doing the
That's
man
when you
that?
see me, make sure I have my little vodka and ginger ale, you know. Make sure I'm good when you see me, you know, Puffykins. That's all I want. I give
Sandy,
the whole
Sandy
show,
Ryder,
make
we
sure I
we
good
will
Puffykins.
provide. We will provide and we will
Hey,
deliver.
Okay, so we need to start working on this.
I want to be like mommy with a random car on social media and thing.
I want to
Guys.
talk stuff now.
Guys, listen, right? It's 10 o'clock. I gotta go and prepare my wife meal for tomorrow.
Yeah, make some corned beef and thing, boy.
My brother reached to it. I go
You
and prepare
understand?
for Wassi Wednesdays. For those of you, it's Trinity
Yeah.
Chinese style tomorrow, pepper shrimp or chicken. Miss it, your mother what?
I gonna plant some plants in the morning. I gardening too, so is that right?
Yeah.
All
I'll
of
put
you
peppers in the
things.
ground tomorrow.
Yeah, I planting too. I want to plant my scythe tomorrow in morning, so I'll plant some.
If you plant pimento, you have a customer in me.
All right. We go talk.
I have pimento
Just
today.
call me.
I have pimento today.
Call it.
Well, then
Hey,
you send the pimento, you're speaking, Stevie.
Hey, Giselle, it's back to pimentos, you know. Oh, not back to basic, you know. Back to
back
to pimentos. Oh, I got you. I have you. The bacchanal start.
Listen, again, so we can segue out. Thank you to everyone.
Kerra, I'm proud of you and I love you. I told you so. That's all I'm going to say. Mwah.
Thank you.
Kerra.
Thank you to everyone that's still in the chat. We have 100 and something people on here. So thank you to everyone that logged on. I hope you guys enjoyed this plugged in reality.
This was a great hour, Kerra. Like the hour.
Yeah, like this is like one of the
Wonderful
best
hour.
hours.
This is like
Wonderful hour.
Hours.
LOL.
You know, like
Come on, pump your brakes. Was I the one talking?
Watch that.
No need to point any elbows,
We talk
guys.
so much, right? We talk about that. The moment Kerra was just like this.
You put 5 walkie-talkie on one with band
Is that one
and
way?
talk, wouldn't have talk.
We saw one boy.
Who's that one, man?
Hey, only check out Kevin Crong morning show in the morning, 9 a.m.
Kevin, morning, 9 a.m. Kevin Crong on the IG.
Play the big move with him.
The most consistent morning show host in the spaceship.
Can I get an interview, bro? Like, Kevin, what's the vibe, son?
Yeah, Kevin. Yeah,
You gotta line up, you know. You have to line up, Steven. You have to line up.
Let me just say this to all of the people who don't want to hire me live. This is a great time. Instagram is the way to go.
All right.
That's good. I told you. Love you guys. Love you guys. Let me go take care of my wife.
I love you guys.
All right. Bless up.
Bye.
Guys, don't forget to follow everyone. Follow Ryan, Wassi, Stephen, Puffy. Make sure you guys follow them. Yeah, you see their ads are there. Make sure you guys support them. Attend the events, support our DJs in the industry, support our culture, support our music. Again, Stephen had to go cook for Z, but Wassi, Ryan, Basics, Puffy, from the bottom of my heart, thank you to all. Thank you again to Walshy, Anna, Spice, Jester, and I'm drawing a blank on the last person. Oh my God. Barrie. Sorry.
Barrie.
Yeah. Thank you for everyone, all 10 of you guys, took time to be here today. So thank you for this conversation. Thank you for making my 16th episode this epic. And I will see you guys all soon. Everyone that's watching, keep smiling, keep going, and keep loving. Stay blessed. And I'll see you guys soon. Thank you to Giselle. We'll see you guys later.
Feel the love.